Hello! Can we be heard? Can you hear and see us?
Our windows look a little funky,
They
but it
are,
looks like we can
yes.
be seen. I mean, that's fine.
Streamlabs decided to do its own thing apparently. So let me just mess with that. But welcome. Yes, we are here. Please help me fill this air while I fix these
Yeah,
things.
yeah, sure thing. Yeah, so I guess I'll cover a little bit of introductions then. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Attackers channel. Today we're going to be doing a bit of a review and a discourse on the wonderful seasonal episodes that are the Bob's Burgers hallmarks that we hold so near and dear to our heart. However, this will also be an exercise in patience and a waiting game, as we will both be in the very near future. Eating a fairly substantial amount of a legally purchased and medical necessity
Mm-hmm.
of THC, and so we're gonna get a little, uh, you know, maybe we're gonna get to be feeling a little bit good. And we're just gonna talk about Bob's Burgers and ranking some Halloween episodes, maybe trying to stump each other with some trivia,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna have a pretty good time with it. But before we get on to all of that, let's do we'll just introduce each other a little bit. I mean, if you're here, you know who this fantastic gentleman streaming across from me or next to me, adjacent to me, is Patrick. Or Trick, or Pat, or maybe you'll have a new nickname here at the end of this episode. We'll just have to see where life takes us. Uh,
Teagle.
I'll let
Call me
him.
Teagle.
Teagle, aha.
Yes.
Is that because you are a bird who drinks steeped beverages? No. Okay.
I
Well,
cheated. Nature has to give me that name. We will.
well, then, if nature's giving you the name, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself then?
Yeah, hi, I'm Pat, like Zan said. Presented in a much more interesting way than I would present myself. I'm Pat, I'm a tactric, this is my channel. I play games, sometimes on a regular schedule, even. And yeah, I'm excited to jump into this potential new program, fun idea of Zan and I broadcasting our random pop culture bullshit.
And who is Zan, you're asking? I know you're all dying to know. I'm Zan. It is me. Stop asking questions. It is me. I am the Zan, and I do tabletop things and stream tabletop games in a couple of places, and am writing about some therapeutic tabletop stuff here on the side, and we'll see where that goes and when I can share a little bit more details on that as well. I see he's in the chat.
Woo!
Fantastic. Oh.
So yeah, like Zan mentioned, we're just gonna talk. We're just gonna talk some fucking Bob's Burgers, specifically the Halloween episodes. Um, kind of, we will dig into our favorites in terms of, and like why so. What we're just implying that there's more of a plan than that is just not being honest. So we will riff for a while on this, and that will take up more than enough time.
Yeah, we're just to pull the screen back a little bit. Patrick and I have had quite a few conversations before this started where we decided, okay, hey, we're gonna like have a 15-20 minute power session. We're gonna figure out what the structure is and how we're gonna do this. And it always turns into like a 2 hour tangent session about what the implications are of Bob's relationship with his grill hood. And it never went anywhere, so here
why
we
we,
are.
why we never saw the butcher from that one Thanksgiving episode again.
I know, right? Well, I mean, they couldn't because if he would have been reintroduced, then he would have been a homewrecker. He would have ruined Bob's marriage. It was
Maybe
the
he
nuclear
maybe he
option.
made things work with Tony and his dancing. It's always his
I
dancing.
mean, oh, okay, okay.
So no, it's Thanksgiving episodes are a later time. table that
Next
for
month, this
table
month.
that for next month.
Um, so, but before we begin, do we like want to share with them what we did to prepare, or do we just want to get straight into the imbibe process?
Sure. You go ahead.
Oh yeah, of
First.
course. So I have taken a 10 milligram edible of a sativa Sweet Stones brand watermelon thing, very delightful. And I also have a fun little grain of rice sized dollop of some RSO on a piece of toast or a piece of bread that I have already cut because I'm making stuffing in a few days and I just need that shit to get stale and it hasn't gotten stale yet.
I 100% assumed you meant like prepping the stream. It's
Oh
just like,
no,
what
no,
did we do to
no,
prep for the stream? Why don't I
no.
let you field that
We
question?
watched
Because I
Bob's
can't think of
Burgers, man.
anything.
Uh,
But yeah, I am about to have a small little dollop of what is called 9 pound hammer, which is another indica strain. Little oil that I just put on my nacho chips.
and I feel like this is a good point of difference between us because as people who are watching are going to find out, you and I we are not a perfect Venn diagram.
No.
We are there's not a lot of outside on the circles. Um, but where you are going for an indica, I'm a solid sativa man. Not only is my edible sativa, but I also have some Galactic Jack, which is gonna be delightful, gonna be real fun. So bottoms up, yeah.
Well, this is just a plain chip. Also, I will mute myself so you all don't have to listen to the crunch.
It'll be fine. No one will know the difference, and that's why I just went for some incredibly crusty bread because I'm from the South and I have a natural talent for just kind of storing things in my cheek like a little squirrel after a lifetime of growing up eating sunflower seeds and peanuts and being too lazy to spit the seeds out individually. Um, it is it's a habit that's or a little trick, I guess, that's earned me no amount of strange looks, but it has been fun. It's led to a lifetime of small tears on the tip of my tongue and and far too much sodium in my diet.
I should unmute myself too. Yeah. So what do we want to talk about first?
Well, I think let's hit the big points. This is our
What is
first
Bob
episode too,
Belcher?
so like
What is
who
Bob
the
Belcher?
heck is Bob Belcher? Where is Bob Belcher? He's on the fucking toilet. That's where he is. So what is Bob's Burgers and why is it super special to us? So I guess well, I mean Bob's Burgers is hey Bob's Burgers is a really cool show, an animated show that shows a family, the Belcher family, uh, doing restaurant things and surviving with each other through daily shenanigans. I don't know. Is there anything that I left out there, Patrick?
No, it's. I think one of the things that we've talked about before is, I think just one of the reasons that the show hits so well with people, and is so popular is just because, like, the family, it's not like all bickering and bullshit. Like it is like just genuinely God, what's the expression?
It's heartfelt. Like it
Yes, yeah,
is. Yeah, the joke, the punchline isn't everyone hates each other.
yes, exactly. Which is it's nice. It's not always the case in a lot of, especially in adult cartoons.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
tend to skew the
Everybody is
opposite direction.
yeah. Everybody is depressed and takes it out on their immediate family. It's not. I don't know. It's not what I would choose to watch. So, um, I guess let's just get right into the meat of it, dude. What's your favorite Halloween episode? What's your
Oh
top
my
your top three,
gosh,
your top
just
five?
diving in
Let's
with the
just
favorites, huh?
we're just gonna hit into it. I mean, do we want to give like a brief rundown of each one?
Yeah, yeah, I like
Okay.
that. Fuck it, let's do that. It's we could talk about them in chronological order even too, because it's a
See,
little.
that gets tricky because then there's like years that go over multiple years.
Oh, I guess I didn't mean like in universe chronologic.
Oh,
I just meant like release order.
Oh yeah. But I mean, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like the
But then
normal way you would do it that did not even need to be said, and I just complicated things. But yeah, so it's I think one of the things that surprises people is they think that the Halloween episodes start earlier than they do, and season 3 is the first time we get one with full bars.
exactly. So Full Bars is a really cool episode, not only just because it starts the wonderful tradition of their Halloween episodes, but it's also the first time that we kind of explore the area to a little bit of a greater extent. They take us to where was the where what island is that, Pat?
King's Head Island,
King's Head
where
Island. What makes it special?
where all the rich people live near town. So we've got the Seymour Bay area where the main family lives, which is lots of like small businesses, mom and pop shops, Wonder Wharf, obviously. And then we've got nearby, which you have to take a ferry to, we've got King's Head Island, where all of the rich people live, which we visit, several times throughout the course of the show, but only once on Halloween, and for the first Halloween episode.
And because yeah, I mean, this is where we get into why the episode is titled what it's titled. It's Full Bars. The draw is that they give out full bars,
Full size candy bars.
full size candy bars, the jackpot of Halloween. Why would you even bother with the wharf where you might get apples or floss or like peanut brittle?
Oh
when you
god,
can
it's
get
no, it's
full
they weren't even getting. They were getting like absolute garbage that year. I believe that was the season where Reggie gave them tickets so that they would be first in line the next day at the deli.
That does sound right. Yeah, okay.
Mr. Frond had like the seaweed treats from like his trip abroad.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
very
No,
very few of the items they got near home were actually even edible.
that's right. Yeah. I mean, I hate to disagree with the fact that I think that I would love to get some seaweed treats for. I would trick or treat if I could get seaweed treats. Maybe that's a minority opinion though. So what is our point of conflict in this episode? Like what because I mean they've gone to the island and everything is great, but what is the oh man, what do we?
Oh sure, yeah. I mean, kids are having a great time. Make some friends that recognize their costumes, all that stuff, and then the King's Head tradition of Hell Hunt kicks off, which is where all of the high schoolers hunt down any little kids that are still out past a certain time and torture them via a combination of eggs and pea balloons. Is primarily what we see.
Actually, Pat, so Pat and I have prepared, or mostly me has prepared a small amount of trivia, and I do want to hit you with a trivia question right here, Pat. So you mentioned the eggs and the pea balloons.
Hmm.
There are two other Hell Hunt pranks that are explicitly mentioned. Can you hit me with either of them?
Oh gosh, somebody's eyebrows all got shaved.
That is 100% right. And
I don't remember
their
the other one.
cousin, their cousin had his head shaved and was covered in maple syrup.
Oh god, yeah.
But we did mention, or you mentioned the costumes. The costumes this year are Tina is a mommy mummy
Yeah.
who's single and working two jobs and just trying to get out there.
Oh god, they're
And
fantastic this year.
oh, they're so
The first
good.
year
This
that
is
we
great.
they lead out strong with these costumes.
They do. I honestly, controversial opinion. I think Louise's Edward Scissorhands is the least inspired of the three.
Yeah, sad
The
Wolverine. Ooh, sad Wolverine.
with Jeans being Queen Latifah in her UNITY face.
Yeah. I mean, and not just the kids this episode, but we're lucky enough where the B plot of this episode is the costume party at Teddy's place, his orange and black party. And so we get, I guess, trivia question I had for this episode. What were at least two of the other costumes that Teddy offered to Bob that he did not wind up in
Oh
after
man.
showing up and committing a party fall to this party without a costume.
Oh, I mean I know Bob would ultimately be going with the fat suit.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, And there was also Summer Frankenstein,
There was
for
Summer
sure.
Frankenstein.
I mean, this all could be blamed on Bob not going for Summer
You could have
Frankenstein.
been Summer Frankenstein, but Summer Frankenstein wasn't good enough for you.
Oh man, it was so. What were the other ones? I don't recall any of the others.
Oh gosh, the one that I remember was some kind of Chewbacca.
Yes, I think it was just Chewbacca.
It was just Teddy introduced it as some kind of Chewbacca.
That's
But it
right.
did just
Okay.
look like Chewbacca.
Uh, okay, and tragedy does strike. I'm gonna ruin some of Pat's good time with
Mm-hmm.
this
Yep.
beat plot. Tragedy does strike. The Teddy doesn't have a last name. Does Teddy it?
I don't think we've ever gotten a last name for Teddy.
Huh. Well, Teddy's household is ruined. Is his night is ruined. There's a casualty, a close, near and dear friend to Teddy's heart. His
There's a
sweet,
death
sweet
at the party.
17-year-old guinea pig, Francis, meets her end through. How would you describe the murder weapon, Pat?
Um, gosh, gravity,
I
sort
mean, I
of.
would say Bob's ass, but
Yes. Yes. Well, a combination of Bob's ass and exposure to the paint that Teddy covered her in.
that is true. She was
Yeah,
trying to eat her paw for a little bit.
yeah. The B story devolves into Teddy holding essentially all of his partygoers hostage as he investigates the murder of his guinea pig, before figuring out that he probably also helped kill her by. He painted everything in the apartment orange and black. There was a lot of fumes. He was very committed to the theme of the party.
Um, Yeah, but there's a funeral. Everybody has their amends at the end of the night, and Teddy offers to give people CDs of these spooky sounds. This is actually not the last time we're going to
It's
talk about
not.
Teddy's spooky sound CD because it's a recurring gag, and it never gets better. It stays great, but it never gets better.
One thing I think is interesting is is this our first trip to King's Head Island? I feel like it
Yeah,
is.
King's Head Island has never been mentioned before. Yeah, because there's a suspense of coming up on it because it's like a dense fog and it's super cold, and they come out of it and they're like, oh, it just got 10 degrees warmer.
So I feel like it's interesting that we don't see. I think we only ever see one of the people that we meet on King's Head Island again.
Yeah,
Because I think we
yeah.
only
We
see Bryce again.
Is that the guy, the attendant at the gate?
No, so I think Bryce is one of the teenagers, the Hell Hunt kids, and
Where do
we
we
meet
see him
him.
again?
We see him again in oh gosh, Speak Earsy Rider, I think is the name of it, or which the
Oh
go
yeah, where
kart
they
episode is what I'm
oh it's
thinking of.
the go kart. Oh ooh,
Because
okay, yeah, yeah.
he's not
The
nice
downhill
Bryce.
derby.
He's the champion of A League.
That makes sense.
And so
Okay,
the kids
all right.
recognize him at the beginning, but he doesn't recognize them. But I'm pretty sure of all of the King's Head characters that we get introduced to, he's the only one that recurs
In this episode.
in this episode, as opposed to later trips to King's Head, where we get like Sasha and Duncan and a few of the kids that make reappearances.
But what is so the kids get they don't get captured in this hell hunt after they push their luck and take multiple bars from multiple places, uh, against the wishes of the bards who have taken a trip to no. Wait, did the bards go to St. Bart's?
They went. It was oh gosh, what was the name of it was not the Barts, but they did go to St. Bart's on vacation.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
but
yeah,
it's
but they pushed their yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I did not realize this until my most recent time watching it, that all of that shit connects in the background with the family that is on vacation is the family that then Louise knows will be out of town, so they can do the fake skinny dipping plan at that family's house because nobody will be
Oh,
there.
man, you're right. Okay. Wow. Okay, but we so we talked about doing this as a little thing to mention here and there. How did they not die?
Yeah,
So
so we
I
we
think
did
this might
talk
be
about this. One of our future points of conversation that we're probably going to cover is all of the times that the family should have died, or came very close to dying.
because this is presumably, since they are not home, this is probably an unheated swimming pool because I'm sure it's heated while they're there.
Hmm.
But this is a cold October night,
Hmm.
and everyone is wearing, like they mentioned, like they're shivering on the boat.
Oh
It is
yeah.
obviously cold, and there are no short-sleeved characters in this whole episode that are outside.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just an
Even
animation thing, though.
we'll see.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
everybody was wearing hoodies and things.
Yeah,
Like even the ones that weren't in costumes were wearing hoodies.
but I feel like, I wonder if that's just how they draw teenagers in the show. Because I feel like,
I mean,
oh no, Logan's got like a long sleeve T-shirt or like a long sleeve shirt. For some reason, I thought Logan always had a hoodie on too.
it's a two-shirt combo. It's the long
Got it.
sleeve with the short sleeve on over it.
Yes.
But then they also
Maybe.
like, I mean, Jeju doesn't have Jeju has sleeves, and
Yeah.
Zeke has no sleeves whatsoever.
Yeah. I guess I forget that I separate like so there's Tina's group and then there's still like the older kids that we get like ancillary
Hmm.
characters as.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that we see any of like the high school age kids that we get introduced to wearing short sleeves ever. This is not at all relevant to this episode and just another non sequitur that we get because I'm
Yeah,
thinking of
this
them
is
all now. Like there's Jonas, the sandwich delivery boy. He's also got like a two-shirt combo. I think.
really, maybe they just don't like arms.
Yep.
Maybe everybody in this universe bites their arm in their sleep like Teddy does
Like
during
Teddy
the
does.
Wolf of Warp Street.
Mhm.
Just I mean, it happens in their teens and then again in their 20s and once again in their 30s, and it's still happening in
I
their
guess it's happening again.
40s. You know. Oh my God, no! We've got to finish this episode before we can go on to the next. So we got so the this might need to be like a five-parter.
I
We'll be doing
assumed
this through next
that
Halloween.
I fully assumed we would try and tackle like entire episodes for a bit, and then at some point that would fall apart, and we would just be jumping around.
Man,
So we're
this
right
happened
on
way too
track for
early,
how I
man.
pictured things going.
Oh, okay. All right. We're gonna get
Yeah.
through. Let's.
Anything else to touch on in full bars? I feel like we covered the kids
Yeah,
pretty
there is
well.
actually. I have a pretty intense question for you. And this is maybe the heaviest weight, maybe the most heavyweight question that I have in all the ones that I've prepared for you. So as we mentioned, Gina's Queen Latifah from her UNITY phase, and I've got a simple question for you. Can you tell me the name of that album or the year that it came out?
No.
It is
Not even a guess. The answer is just no.
this is all Queen Latifah's Black Rain album that was
So I'm
released in
sorry, Queen Latifah. I do
1993.
not know.
Hey man, it was pretty critically acclaimed. I think it seems like it was pretty strong. I was a wee bab, so I haven't fully listened to it yet.
You
But
said in '93.
93,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
and
was.
that's REIGN.
That did not make it into my preschool playlist, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah,
I am. My life is the more empty because of that.
we missed out on something. Um, yeah, end of story, good message. Everybody gets home. Everybody gets home safe.
One thing that could be interesting, I just realized is so Gene loses all his candy in this episode because his bag rips.
He
It
does, and
I'm
Tina loses her doll.
Yes, but I'm wondering how many episodes the kids wind up without candy in, because this
I
is
mean, at
not
least
the
one of
only
them.
one.
I think the most recent one they get the least amount of candy. They only get one bag of candy, like one package of candy each.
Oh yeah, but I mean, again, we're gonna jump to a few others where like they don't get anything. Well, I guess
Yeah.
they hustle some other people out of their candy in some of those episodes.
Yeah. I I do think it's worth mentioning though. Oh no, where did the thought go? Um no, I guess I don't think it's worth mentioning that.
Oh, if it's worth mentioning, I'm sure it'll come back around.
Oh yeah, I'll remember it here. Here it just. Oh, okay. No, I do remember now. Did you catch the Mash reference that they made in this episode? Like in the first Halloween episode?
um,
It was a very subtle and very unsettling Mash reference.
that sounds familiar, but I can't recall it now.
When they are hiding, watching the teenagers capture their two friends, Tina is holding the baby and goes, "Please don't cry, please don't cry." Um, which I don't know, to me seemed really reminiscent of the very upsetting scene in MASH where it wasn't a chicken.
Yeah, that's just a rough that's just a rough line of dialogue in general. I can't think of any good things it would come from.
No. Um, so all in all, out of 10, where would you say this episode is?
It's I mean, on a scale of 1 to 11, since there's 11 episodes,
Oh
I
yeah,
feel
you
like
did
it's
go
good.
through it. Like, did you do a full hierarchy? Because I know I only did my top three.
I kind of did. Mine kind of breaks down. I tried to rank all of them, and it kind of breaks down into like my few favorite ones, and then the other ones that I like. And it's harder to separate them out in those groups, but like
Mhm.
those groups are pretty set in my head. And this
Okay.
was I wound up settling on this as like my second favorite one.
Okay. All right. So we have
I thought they
pretty
started
different
out strong.
opinions. I think it's a really good one. I think it's definitely they started out strong, but there are later episodes that are just so good. I think really like the downfall for me is compared to their future costumes. I think that the costumes in this episode are not quite uh, as cool and impressive and clever. Like they're very niche and very cool,
Mm-hmm.
but they are not creative in a way that the costumes in later episodes are, or even if they're not creative, practical,
Mm-hmm.
as we'll see in
Okay.
like 2 episodes.
And I mean, this was their first. This was well, I guess that wouldn't
It
affect
was
the
their
costumes. This was their first episode trick or treating alone, which was interesting
Oh yeah,
because
this
that was
was
the whole
this was their first year, right?
yeah, which is why they were able to ditch Bob and go to King's Head Island.
Right.
Oh yeah,
I do. There is one thing I want to mention. It's very Teddy has a very relatable moment in this episode when he's pressing Bob and Linda to see if they're going to come to the party or
yeah.
not, and it's a maybe. It's not a soft maybe. It's not a hard maybe. It's a maybe. And
Like
Teddy has a small tantrum because what's aggravating Teddy in this one, Pat?
I got 40 maybes. How do I plan for that, Bob?
Could not have said it better myself. Oh man, it's just so good though. Okay, all right. Episode two.
I was gonna say, are we
Oh,
keeping
hit me with
up in
another.
order?
I mean, we can try until it gets too off the
Yeah.
rails, and then I mean, like, what? Yeah, we're fine
We'll
to
we'll
solid discussions to have it all here.
we will follow that path when it gets there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, second Halloween episode that we get is season 4, episode 2 is Fortnite, which we get we get for the first and only time introduced to the kids' fort in the alley.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Fort, yeah, and kids. Yeah, this
Oh man.
so, and I mean, this is an episode that incorporates a lot of the backup, the supporting kids. So we get Daryl in it, we get Ollie and Andy in it. We get this is Millie's first introduction, I think, right?
It is, yeah,
Luis's
yeah.
rival stalker, frenemy.
Rival, stalker, frenemy. I think nemesis would be the correct word because they're just so diametrically opposed. Like they have to work together at certain points. Um, but that would be my summation. Who wants to be Bunny while Louise is Dust
Yes. Why would
instead of
I
the?
be Dust? Dust, and you could be Bunny.
That's exactly what Dust would say.
I received a text from my sister that's important. Teddy's name is either Teddy Francisco, apparently that is on his Funko toy, or Teddy McGillicuddy, after his daydreaming about a fake wife named Karen.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
got two
Interesting.
possibilities there.
All right, I'm here for it. So
Which
I
is
think Teddy would actually take his new wife's name,
right.
given how bad his
So
his
I don't
ex-wife
think
ended.
McGillicuddy fits. I
No,
think that's his pretend spouse's last name that he takes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, because I mean, when his ex sees him in the See Me Now too,
Yes.
that he needs to be able to introduce himself with a new last name to show how well he's doing to her.
Yeah, it's yeah. So Fortnite, we get I forget. This is Tina. I think the first of many times that Tina claims this is going to be her last time trick or treating.
Mhm.
And it's the kids are the three Belchers and Andy and Ollie Pesto are all going to go together as a Chinese dragon, and claim that they've got 10 kids underneath there in order to get twice as much candy. And
Mhm.
they're making their plans with Aziz Ansari's character Daryl, who is
This is
our resident video game nerd.
is this his introduction?
No, so Daryl's introduction was Burger Bob, or
I
God,
thought
whatever
Burger
the.
Bob was like season 5, 4 or 5.
No, that was
It's
a pretty
really,
early one.
oh man.
When Bob he's on painkillers for the carpal tunnel from the video game, because
Oh, that's
it's
right.
he
This is
goes
the
to Family
hint.
Fun Time for the first time and sees
Right.
DRL Daryl on all of the high scores.
Yeah, that's right. And this is the first time we see Bob hallucinate on pain pills. This is going to come back later. This is
Also
not.
comes back up.
It's recurring.
It's all a cycle.
This is also, I didn't realize this until very recently, but I think this is the second time we see Randy, because it's not explicitly stated. But Randy mentions in a later episode that he has a blog that's getting turned into a movie.
Oh
And so I think that that Candy Randy, the vlog that Daryl follows, is actually Randy from the Meat is Murder and later food truck documentaries.
that would be such a fun little. I feel like the food truck before this too. I feel like the food truck was early on as well.
I mean, it may have been. I feel like it was before season 4. It might have been this season. It might have come just after this. I don't know. We just need to know the order of every single episode.
Right? Why don't I have all 200 plus episodes memorized in chronological order? Damn this brain of mine.
We should really do better. Uh, uh, yeah, but the kids as they're going, uh, as the kids are gathering the last of the supplies needed for their Chinese dragon, they've left the eyes in the fort, and that is where most of the adventure takes place. They are accompanied by Andy, Ollie, and Randy in there, and there is an odor. They get a small
Daryl.
tour of the two. Right, they get a tour of the two-floor
Mm-hmm.
cardboard box. It seems much larger on the inside than it is on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Still cardboard box size, but much bigger than should be. And then tragedy strikes.
Yes. Um, yeah, there is a truck that backs into the space, and essentially perfectly locks them into the fort, surrounded by essentially a metal coffin. With they hear a guy going to a Halloween party saying like he's just gonna leave the truck there all night.
A guy who is a fruit. I
Yes, he was a
believe
fruit
this
lady.
is. Yes.
Yeah.
Fruit lady, yes, yes. And you just hear that Millie makes her return. Of course, dressed as Bunny, because Louise should be dust by now. And things do not go well. Millie gets Millie gets her feelings hurt because Louise has a bit of a moment with her,
A bit of a moment, yes.
a bit of a moment. And what is the question that Millie poses? Because I can't exactly remember. But what's
Oh, it's something like if dust falls and no one's around, does it make a sound or something like that? And
something like
she
that?
empties her bag of dust for Louise's costume and says, "No, it doesn't," and walks away.
So they have ostensibly been left here to die
Yeah.
between a dumpster, a wall on two sides, a truck, and the metal door of the truck that is pressing down on the top of this cardboard box.
Yeah, it's in the B story for this episode. We're getting back and forth of Linda and Bob trying to rush to throw together this dragon costume for the kids that is not in any way done yet. I think they're all making tails. They don't realize they've
Three
recruited
tails are
Teddy and
made.
Mort, and between the four of them, three of them are all making tails. Linda has no idea how much sequence she's using. Bob has to get into a fight with oh god, Harold and Edith to like essentially steal their sequence and throw money at them and leave, and then spills it all in the street anyway.
Some very irate people in the cars, in their cars, watching and laying on those horns for
Mm-hmm.
this. I think this is one of my earliest pieces of favorite dialogue, where Linda says, "You don't have to be good; you just have to be quick." And Mort's response is, "Why can't all women want that?"
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is a good that's a moment of Mort being self-aware of his own situation, and I find that quite funny because as we get to know Mort a little bit better in the rest of the show, we see that Mort does have a very keen awareness of how odd he is, and it works well.
Mm-hmm. So, just so I don't forget to mention it, both Burger Boss and Food Truckin' are in the second season of the show, actually. So,
Oh, so it's
two
already
seasons
happened.
earlier. Yep.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and that's funny that Mort does like have these random Halloween episode lines to shine. Because like in the only time we get him in full bars is Gretchen offering to do essentially act as a medium for for the dead hamster or the dead guinea pig, and her saying that she can talk to Mort's toupee.
We do also have the great line of when Mort comes in at right after Teddy has accused everyone,
Yeah.
and the first words out of his mouth are, "Whoa, who died?"
Yeah.
Perfect timing there, Mort.
But yeah, it's Fortnite is just it's overall it's just a solid one. I feel like I feel like I don't know. Like I feel like it's got a solid A and B story going on. Millie getting introduced for the first time is great because we get. I feel like we've gotten more of her recently, but she was somebody that we
Mhm.
only got like small parcels of throughout most of the seasons. So
I mean, she was the
getting to
main
meet her
character in
was
the first episode of this most recent season.
yeah. That was all her. We wound up getting God, at least two more that I could think of with her later on with the Millie Churian candidate where she runs for class president.
Mhm.
And then Silence and Louise, where they're trying to figure out who tore apart Mr. Franz'
I
therapy
love
dolls.
that episode.
Hmm?
I love that episode, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
love Gene's insistence that the novel is Old Yellow.
Old Yellow, yeah. And that's a fun one because that's the first time you actually see Louise actually starting to consider Millie as like a viable friend option. I feel like
Yeah,
because
because up until that point, she only had one friend that wasn't in her immediate family, and
yeah,
that was the girl who, if she was a spice, she would be flour. I
Jessica,
don't remember.
it's
Jessica,
Jessica
that's right.
because
If she was a book, she would be two
two
books.
books. It's 7:30. What are your parents? Farmers? They're osteopaths. What's an osteopath? But yeah, I
Just
was going to that's a whole different I feel like conversation, like a whole different Louise dive into who actually Louise like is friendly towards and who she gravitates towards because like we get
mhm.
like two episodes with Jessica, we start seeing her form some stuff with Millie. We've got a few good episodes between her and regular size Rudy. But
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, okay. Her and regular slash routine, definitely friends.
that's really kind of it. Like Andy and Ollie occasionally, but they're more of like flunkies for her schemes than actual friends. I feel like.
There is the little fish that Tina gets
Yeah.
paired with.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know if we would really consider them friends, but I think there is kindness showed towards each other by the end of the episode.
Definitely, I would say I wouldn't. So it's. I feel like they could do what they did with Jessica, where it's like they could just have another episode happen where her and Louise are hanging out and like not miss a beat. But yeah, it's they just kind of I feel like they just kind of establish it in that episode, the one episode we get of it,
Mhm.
and then she does the oh god, what is it? The Thinkgineers.
The engineers when she's going to have the catapult full of cockroaches.
Right, but then is it Kaylee? I think Kaylee is the name of that girl.
Kaylee, that's yes.
She joins like on purpose and enjoys it, as opposed to like
Mm.
Zeke
As
and
opposed to Z.
yeah, who's there as a punishment.
Oh, okay. And I guess my closing opinion on Fortnite is I'm a little bit claustrophobic. This is
Yeah.
an uncomfortable episode for me.
Hmm.
I think it's very good. I think there's very good one-liners in it. I definitely think that it is a very strong episode, but it's just not fully up there for me. I think that the they should have died factor is a little too high in this
Yeah.
episode for me to fully enjoy it because at the end of the episode, I don't think we've mentioned this at this point. The metal door crushes the fort. This
Yes.
is the only time we see the fort.
Yeah. The kids get out of there with literally seconds to spare.
One of them loses a shoe.
Yeah,
Andy
it's
or Holly loses
one
a
of
shoe.
one of them loses a shoe, and then the other throws one of their shoes in there with it, so they can be together.
Yeah.
And they then set up the kids then pose the shoes with the broken fort, so that Millie thinks that they've all died, and they can haunt her. And
That's how they get the candy.
that's what I
Millie
was going to
drops
say.
her
They don't get
bag.
any of their own candy this episode, but they do get Millie's.
Hmm.
But I guess by the time they get free of the fort, all of Daryl's work and um, God, he did so much work. He followed all the candy blogs. He polled a bunch of people via phone to set up his map, and he just didn't get to use it.
Not at all. It's absolutely heartbreaking. But Pat, I do have a question for you. Um, in this episode, for her crimes, Louise faces a sentence. Where is she sentenced to? And how long is she sentenced there?
Louise faces a sentence in this one
She does.
for her crimes.
Hmm.
What does Louise do? Because I know, obviously, Daryl gets sentenced to some punishment when he betrays the group and tries to escape by helping Millie and
The
ratting out
broken
their
boy.
plans. Yes. Um, the one day that they didn't eat peanut butter and tuna sandwiches, and they ruined that torture.
Hmm. They ate soap and something else.
God, what would Louise even get punished for in this episode?
Well, for being rude to Millie.
Louise did nothing wrong.
There is an explicit punishment mentioned by Millie.
Oh, by Millie.
Mhm.
Oh, it's friend jail, and friend jail lasts forever. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we wound up there. It's all good.
So, other random trivia about this episode before we move on. This is one of the intro to this episode has a random jump scare screen in it that pops
Does
up.
the Coochie Kobe?
Yes. Yeah, it's
Oh,
like it's
I'm
a
glad.
second, but Coochie Kopi just pops out of the screen at the beginning and then is gone. I'm just, it's like when I finally caught it, I'm like, wait, did that really happen?
Did I just stroke out for a second, or was that a real thing? Okay, so this is we're on to season 5. This is gonna be like what,
Yeah.
episode 2? What is
Season 5, episode 2, which I believe is Tina and the Real Ghost
it is,
with Jeff
yes.
the Ghost,
With Jeff the
his
Ghost.
easy breezy
Oh,
shoebox.
yeah. We also have a great some great guest stars in this episode.
Oh yeah.
This
Are-
is where we have Jordan Peele, right?
yes, yes, we do. Yeah, as one of the paranormal investigators, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's not to bury the lead on this one, it's um we start out this episode with I don't know, Tina's dealing with some Jimmy Jr. bullshit, I assume, because that's the premise of most episodes.
So many. Yeah.
Oh, it's the mausoleum, and she's trying to like, so are we going together? And he's just like, I guess I'll just see you there if I see you, type thing.
Yeah.
And there's a pest infestation in the basement. They call hugs not bugs. Is that it? The name of the
That is going to
exterminator.
be the yeah.
Who is not a friendly exterminator. They literally hug the bugs to death. It's very painful. But goes into the basement and does not treat the basement because he claims that there is a presence down there and that these are phantasmal bugs from the spirit world.
Yeah, he will not even go down the stairs. He makes it like two stairs in
Yep.
and then nopes the heck out. And
Yes.
later refuses to even come in the restaurant.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because so instead sends two ghost hunter friends to the restaurant. Before fleeing, the exterminator does explain to both Linda and all of the children what they need to do with the ghost, which is they need to have a séance, trap him in a vessel, and then just get the ghost gone.
Which is interesting because they do just use a Ouija board.
Yeah,
Which I don't know if Ouija boards are really seance material, but I guess.
I feel like they can be. I forgot. Did we talk about this recently, or did I have this exact same conversation with another person? Where it's,
I have
I
no
think like
idea
a
that.
Ouija board could be like a part of a séance, I guess. But there's other ways to do one.
I think this was with me because I think this is a consistent gripe of mine. I mean, I guess, yeah, it does make sense. It feels like too easy of a part of the trick. I don't know. I have qualms. But yes, okay. They have to use the Ouija board to move this ghost Jeff into a shoebox, a nice shoebox, but still a shoebox. And Jeff was apparently cool when he was alive, as they ask, "Were you cool?" He was very cool.
Well, so they don't ask if he was cool, but Tina's shitty friend group at school does. Her awful friends who are
Do they
awful.
do the Ouija board at school as well?
Yeah, because it's Louise brings it with
Oh,
her.
that's
Because
right.
it's prior to this, freaking Zeke and Jimmy Jr. go on a whole rant about how death is the end and there's nothing afterwards. Ghosts aren't real.
Right.
And it's they. So I think in the basement they just establish that he's Jeff and that he's a teenage boy, and then convince him to go into the box. And then at school, they introduce that ghosts eat soup, um, and that Jimmy Jr. smells. I think is the other question that they answered, and
Hmm.
that he was very cool. Yes, when he was
That's
alive.
very cool. I also, since we're talking about the friend group, I have to say that I really like Zeke's character development in this. We not only have Zeke being existentially distraught over the possibility of the life of non-existence after death, and we also have Gene showing abject terror. Not Gene, Zeke showing abject terror as he tries to go into the mausoleum, laughing at his own fear and telling his legs, "You can shake, but you can't quit on me."
Yeah, I mean, not to we could do a whole thing on like Tina and her friend group. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, Zeke is typically the only the most redeemable of them to me. The one
I
that like shows like relatively consistent character development and is not and not just a piece of shit most of the time, like Tammy.
Yeah, Tammy and Jocelyn really don't have a lot of redeeming moments.
Jocelyn, like I like more as like the comedic bit of it, just because I think just because she's so shallow in general as a character.
Yeah.
Whereas Tammy just has a lot more time to shine and be downright awful. Jocelyn
Mhm.
is always more of like an accomplice or just too ditzy even for Tammy's plans.
I mean, it's the comedy duo pairing. It is the short, loud person and the tall, quiet one. This
Mm-hmm.
is this is evident here. This is evident in the crooks in 101 Dalmatians. This is evident in Mr. Pym and Mr. Pin and Mr. Tulip in the Discworld novel of Truth.
We've got
Uh,
the burglars from Home Alone.
yes, we do. I mean, it's the trope for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
My one of my dearest friends and I went to a LARP in Japan where both of us were brigands, disguised as guards, and we followed the same trope because he was half a head shorter than me and carved out of marble, and I had a big axe. It was great. Um, Oh, later on, I can't. So, at a different episode, I'm very excited for us to talk about the LARPing episode. I've got some real hot takes on that
Zero
one.
LARP 30. No.
It's so good. It's so good. Oh, I've got some thoughts. Okay, but Tina and the Real Ghost.
I mean, this one, they wind up not trick or treating again, so it's
Hmm.
no candy again for them at the end of this episode because
No
they
candy.
go to the mausoleum instead. Um, just to cover the bits of the story we skipped over. Louise does eventually after Tammy steals Tina's ghost boyfriend because Tina does begin dating Jeff. Um, Louise then reveals that it was obviously a scam and she was moving the Ouija board and Tammy just scammed them better.
But also Linda was not aware that Louise was scamming them.
Yeah, yeah,
This is not the earliest example we have of Linda being gullible, but it's one of the loudest ones in the beginning parts of the show. I also there is one bit of trivia I have for you, Pat, and good luck with it. There's not a high margin of error for here. I've got two solid questions. Um, by what margin did Phil beat Don in the paranormal investigation officer elections?
wouldn't it have been by 2 votes?
Yes,
Because they were the only two that voted and they both voted for it.
yes,
It was unanimous, right?
it's a landslide
Yeah.
victory. But also still on those two at the end of the episode, just for a little bit of closure, they try to skip out on the bill by telling Bob that they have already by first telling Bob that it was just going to be a wash between the charges for investigating and the 12 burgers that they ate while they were there. And when that doesn't work, they tell Bob that they can't pay because they have already been dead for some time. Pat, do you know how long they've already been dead?
God, was it 10 years?
Oh, maybe a little bit less than it actually is. You've got a perfect record right now, except for the one Queen Latifah questions you have. Maybe want to
Got a perfect
think
record except for
about
that other one you got wrong.
being generous here. We're playing by BBC Four rules.
Well, if it's I do think that if it's not 10, it's higher. I was
It
I was
is,
between
yeah.
10 and 20 for what I was going to pick.
Hmm.
What is
It's
it?
gonna be 12.
It's
It's gonna be
12.
12 years. Yeah,
Well, that's I would not have guessed 12.
I know, right? It's a wild one. There we go. Getting deep into this trivia.
Yeah, in terms of this episode in general too. It's God, what was so the B story with Bob and Linda was really just all of the haunting stuff. I don't think there was anything extra that they did.
Yeah, it was just the restaurant being haunted. It
Yeah.
was their interactions with Phil and Don.
I do like all of the kids at the mausoleum as Tina turns like the tables on them and freaks everybody out. I like all of them going through what they were using Jeff for. Jean's just, I
Maybe I
guess
just wanted to hope there was something beyond, something
maybe I
more
just
to
needed
this
somebody
life.
to watch Kitchen Nightmares.
I also love Gene showing no hesitation to taste the quote unquote blood that was on the wall. That was just ketchup. But as soon as Tina said it, there was no doubt, no fear, no hesitation whatsoever. And Gene just checks out. Perfect. It's so good.
Oh gosh, and so it's costume wise, Tina didn't have a costume. Like
Mhm.
her age group did not have a costume. Gosh, was this the year that Louise was Ryan Gosling from the motion picture Drive?
Yes,
And
and Gene
she
was
was
Gene Cupid?
I think he was Turner and Hooch,
Turner
like
and Hooch, that's
combined
right.
into one creature.
Yeah. Brr, down Hooch.
Yep.
Yeah, you were right on there. I don't know why I thought Gene was. Maybe I'm thinking of the Valentine's Day episode where Gene is Cupid.
I think the only time we see Gene dressed up as, or the only time I remember Gene dressing up as Cupid is one of the more recent Valentine's Day episodes. I think last season's where they changed the restaurant to like a fancy prefix menu, and
Yeah,
he and Louise are
Urge,
going around
right?
like,
This is the
yep,
Urges.
yep,
Okay.
and he's going around like doing Cupid songs for people, and Louise is extorting people for paper roses and all that shit.
Hmm. Okay, is there anything else in this that we need to hit? Or are we ready to move to the next episode?
I think I'm
Oh, wait,
good.
well, for
It was a
you,
pretty straightforward one. It's in like the bottom of mine, but it's in no way like bad. Of the three that
yeah,
we've talked about so far, for me it's full bars, Fortnite, Tina, and the Real Ghost.
I think this one is in my top five, but not in my top three. Like when I was compiling this top three before I'd refreshed myself on some of the others, it was originally up there.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly that could be because I'm a sucker for someone eating butterfly. I think that is funny as hell, and it does break me a little bit every time I see it. So maybe I'm biased. But the next one is probably my favorite. This one is The Haunting.
Really, because I think that one is. We are. I think we're going to agree on one thing at least. But yeah,
Oh, I mean, maybe.
season six, episode three. We have the haunting. Which would you like to introduce this one?
I would because there is a house that they have mysterious access to in a neighborhood they're not familiar with. And as they drive up, they need the kids to stay in the Bob and Linda need the kids to stay in the car exactly 4 minutes before coming into the house for what will presumably be a fun haunted house experience curated only by Bob and Linda. And as they walk in, they are met with uh, Linda in a very cheap attempt at Bride of Frankenstein, but she is the bride of Dr. Bobenstein,
Mm-hmm.
who is the genius who lives in the house. And she attempts to do some scary light flickers,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't really work. The
But
entire premise of
it
this
could cause
episode,
seizures.
right? The entire premise and build up to this is that Louise can't get scared.
Mm-hmm.
She hates haunted houses because she can always see the scares coming. And we see a little montage of her just tearing through people
Mm-hmm.
in various haunted houses over the
Sir,
years.
sir, you're making the chainsaw now noises with your mouth.
Hey, maybe wear less cologne next time. No werewolf smelled you coming when you came in the room.
Yeah, it's we get a nice little montage of Louise not being scared, and Tina and Jean being scared by like loud noises and like the drop of a hat. The same as Teddy, who's terrified of their motion activated witch, like a little decoration, even after being explained to how she works.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so Bob and Linda are determined to give her a good haunted house this year.
And as they go through, they see one interesting room after another. The first being Dr. Bobenstein's laboratory, where they see horrors such as Linda pulling her intestines out, or should I say, the bride of Dr. Bobenstein. She pulls all of her intestines out, which is, of course, a pasta dish. But Pat, I was wondering if you could remind me what kind of pasta
It's
is it that is used to simulate her viscera?
it's angel hair. It's the
It
least
is. It's
scary
the least
pasta.
scary pasta. It's in the name. Oh, it's so
Yes.
good.
Nobody bought the eyes that were the grapes that were supposed to be the eyes in his
Uh,
science box.
But they weren't even in there. It was
No,
empty.
it was empty. Yeah, Bob has Dr. Bobenstein or Bobenstein has a big curly purple wig, as most mad doctors do.
Hmm.
And as they usher the kids out of the room for a costume change, and Louise is kind of fed up with this attempt at a haunted house and decides to flip it on them by God, what did they even? I don't even know. I guess it's just the kids go missing in this
No,
strange
so
neighborhood.
what they do is they are supposed to walk down this hallway
Hmm.
and they know that there's a jump scare at the end. And so they make walking sounds and instead turn around and go out the back door. And, Bob and Linda come out in as a two-headed monster in one oversized shirt, and they stay that way for quite a while,
For a while.
like several minutes. In like, as the viewer, you see them in the shirt, so it's a substantial amount of time. And the kids express that they are not having fun. They're bored with this. It's the worst haunted house they've ever been to, and so they all decide to call it a night and just watch scary movies on the couch. And they find that their car tire is flat.
Mhm.
Oh no. No big deal though. They'll go inside. Pat, what do they do to like try to salvage this situation?
Well, so not before they get inside, they find Mr.
Mhm.
Creepy Silent Gardening Shears, this old man that's
Correct.
just staring at them from at the end of the driveway, not saying anything or responding to them, just brandishing gardening shears and doing no gardening with them.
Because we did see him earlier in the episode when they were driving to it, like actively gardening.
Mm-hmm.
But he was still an intimidating presence, still very much giving them the old stare down.
So they run inside, they lock the door. Bob goes through like the freaking yellow pages of this house and finds a towing service.
Hmm.
Then there's a bunch of noises in the house. They
A
establish that
bang followed by a. Ah!
yeah, just some noisy pipes. You know, and they they establish that they got the house from Mort, from one of his clients. You know, all of his clients are dead people.
Mhm.
And then I think that's when we get the blackout right around then. The lights
Mhm.
all get cut. There's a bunch of noise in the basement. No one in the family wants to check it out, so sends Bob. But Bob
The
also has
phone
the
line
only
gets
light.
cut as Bob is on the phone as well.
Yes, yes, calling Tony, and Tommy.
Yes, that's right. I could remember the name of the towing company. That's perfect.
Yeah, so it's essentially we wind up going through down into the basement where there's God, there's the noises, and then there's just a cloak on a meat hook, right?
Hmm.
Then there's even more weird sounds. They all flee the basement. I think at that point they hear somebody trying to get in the front door.
They hear it's just the wind, and they decide to go and hide upstairs because it's just the
It's
wind, but
just
it's
the
better
wind.
safe than sorry.
Yeah.
And then they then quote, "I hear the wind coming up the stairs."
One is my favorite room of the house, and possibly my favorite Gene line, is they run up the stairs. They're like considering their options, and like one of them notices the next room that consists entirely all empty, but a tiny little fucking rocking chair in the middle, and this terrifying baby doll with no eyes but twigs coming out of them.
Oh, that's right.
And
I'd
Gene just
forgotten
being all
about
like,
that nightmare
"That's not
fuel.
a good use of that room."
So good. And then the door start. They hide. They hide in the bathroom, and then the door starts uh, getting shaken really hard. It's not going to hold. They have to run, so they hop out the window onto the eaves of the house, where thankfully it's a two-story house, so they can stand over it. And the door opens from the outside, and what do they see on the lawn below them?
Three new hooded folks chanting, and then a ring of fire that erupts surrounding the house. As Mr. Creepy Garden Shears starts reaching out the bathroom window and grabs Luis, and we get the big reveal of the heist that this was the real haunted house.
Hmm. Even Gene and Tina were in on it. Tina practiced her lines all night. And this is the only time we see Tina like really busting her chops being an actor. This is definitely far better than her as a tree. It could rival her performance as Topsy, because that was a very convincing dancing she did.
I have a strong connection to this character. And then the nose falls off, and there it goes. I mean, she puts a lot of work into her harmonium performances, though.
She
And
does.
then
That is true.
she's like unnatural at the handy prancing.
Oh, we can't get started on handy prancing. I
We don't
will.
have time. We don't have time. Oh, but yeah,
But it's weird that the what look at what Tina can do with her hands is not at the end of that episode. Like I get why it's at the end of the episode that it is, but
yeah, it's in a whole different. It's in the freaking clap game one. which
How many
not
died
patty
in the
cakes, but the
fire?
other clap cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so
Oh,
I mean, it's an interesting episode because it doesn't have a B plot. It's like one of the only ones I can think of like that. The B plot is just everything that happened in the background to set up the A plot.
I would argue that the B plot is Bob and Linda's attempt to scare the children, and
Yeah.
the A plot is the children trying to throw a coup de terror, if you will.
I mean, and it's I skipped a little bit on the revelations in that episode, but it's like you get the cultists are Teddy and Mort's mom, whose house this is, and then Mort's mom's new boyfriend is creepy garden shears man.
Hey, they've only been together for 3 weeks. They're
Not
just
putting labels
enjoying
on
it,
it.
seeing how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just sounds like that when he breathes.
And
Teddy may
the
or may not have
loud-
cut their brake line.
I'm almost positive Teddy probably cut their brake
Right?
line.
Let's not worry about it, Bobby.
I like the reveal that the sound, the groan was from Mort throwing out his back after making the banging noise.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts in the reveal too is like, this fire's not going to hurt my grass, is it? No, it's non-burning fire.
It's great. It's such a good episode. Like I mentioned, I think this is my favorite. This is at least in my top 3. This might be my favorite. I love this episode.
Me too. It's definitely my favorite. Love the whole main plot. Love like the building creepiness of the actual house. I thought it was paced very well. And then it's also got one of my favorite songs ever in the episode, which is the Boys for Now Halloween song. I love you so much, it's scary.
So good.
I mean,
And
like
it's a
all the
different
Boys
Alan
for
in
Now
there as
song.
well.
Yeah, it's all the. That's a different Alan. They change Alan sometimes, Bobby. No, they don't. I mean, all the Boys for Now songs are always like
So good.
perfect, but this one was just so great. Like the whole rap of it, the terrible costumes.
So bad. Yeah, okay, great. Just great episode all around. I can't think of another episode that doesn't have a B plot, but it's just such a good one. I think this is the one that got me really excited for Halloween episodes every year. I think I was kind of apathetic towards it because all of the episodes are generally really, really good, and I mean, they're all strong. But I think this was the first year they had a Halloween episode that stood out vividly against the rest of the season, and it's still a good season. We're in season 6 by now. It's a solid one.
Yeah. Well, cool. Would you like to take a quick break? Because we've been doing this for a little like hour 15 at this point.
Oh,
Take
wow.
a quick bio break and be back in like 5 minutes.
Little smoke break. Gotta put some calluses on those lungs real quick.
Get some more hydration to.
Yes, gotta get some water. Gotta stay hydrated.
Yeah, so we will take a quick break, and then in the rest of the time that we have left, we will blow through the other 2/3 of Halloween episodes we have not touched on yet.
I mean, we will try. There's a potential that here in about, I don't know, like 45 minutes or so, things are gonna get a little bit silly. So, hang on tight.
All right, yeah, we'll be right back. Hey, hi everybody. We're back. Yep, we're back. Since we on our our Bob's Burgers Halloween episode TED Talk, we've gotten through 4 so far out of 11. So we're either gonna keep going at that pace, or we're just gonna speed run through at some point. We're just gonna see how it goes, and if we realize we're about to run out of time and be like, I really wanted to talk about this shit, then we will skip to that. But so going into season 7, which would be our 5th Halloween episode.
I just want to point out that we've never speedrun anything in the history of our conversations. No. We do the opposite of speed running. We don't even do 100% run. We do like a 70%, but all of the side quest, no mainline story whatsoever.
Well, we certainly start all of the side quests.
That is very true.
We max out the quest log, and eventually some of them might get done. And the episode the episode I did not introduce is Tina Witch, season 7, episode 3. Where costume contest is coming up at school. Tina gets her idea stolen by Tammy, because Tammy, as we've established, is a piece of shit.
Which is, of course, a hot mess.
Yes, a hot mess. She was going to dress up in trash and, like, flames. And Tammy manages to steal that idea because of I guess, like, even early on in the episode, just, like, a very combative crossing guard. Like
Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie seemed kind of shitty to begin with to me.
Yeah.
Like, I know kind of later on, it's kind of, we get into, Tina's kind of pushing people around, that kind of thing. But Jackie always had an attitude the whole episode, which I thought was a little unnecessary for the fact that she is serving children in her capacity at a school.
That could be community service, though. It's not explicitly said it's not community service.
But yes, so it's Tina decides she's going to be a sandwich, a witch between two pieces of bread, and goes to research witches and bread in the library, where we get even more of the amazing Mr. Ambrose.
Wait, what is the first time we see Mr. Ambrose?
Topsy. It is 100% the Topsy.
That's right.
Because he's the one that tells them to look up Topsy.
Topsy!
Where do we look? Topsy! In a book? No, books are stupid. Use the internet. You're a librarian. Yeah, I know.
I mean, in this episode, he also agrees with Tina that Prit is dead.
Yes. He is very over his... Every job that we see him in, he is over. Because we also see him... in his capacity
is he the cheer coach?
He's the cheer coach, yes.
Oh my god.
He wanted to do drama, but Miss Laban's got drama, and he got cis boom blah. That's what he got. And I think that tracks with Working Girl the musical too, because Miss Laban's is in charge of that, isn't she? In charge of choosing the play.
Yeah. Because we're not doing Grease again. She can't handle it.
I can't. I just can't.
So good. Okay, so this is the part of the episode that I really like, because, and I don't go off on many of these tangents, but I dabble in the occult. It's a fun little hobby, and it makes me feel good. It gives me a semblance of control in this wild and terrifying universe. And so I'm a sucker for any, like, teenager finding witchcraft. I'm a huge fan of that whole story archetype. So this is a really fun episode to me, where she finds the Book of Black Magic in the library, doesn't she?
She doesn't even find it. Mr. Ambrose gives it to her.
Oh my god, that's right.
Because we're
everywhere.
It's because if you want to win a contest, you should cast a spell. And Tina's like, there are contests to win spells? And it's, of course, do you think people just win the Nobel Peace Prize? Yes, witches are everywhere.
We're everywhere.
I thought you were just being dramatic. I was. But if that's true, then you were just being dramatic.
I was.
But yeah, so it's Mr. Ambrose reveals that he's a witch, recommends Tina become a witch. Which she does almost immediately. She, God, what did you describe it? It's a reference book, not a TV guide, or was it?
uh,
Or an Us Weekly? It was an Us Weekly.
yes,
Yeah.
it's yeah, because she does all the
I
spells in
did
like a
all of the
weekend.
spells. Yeah. I just did all of them.
And she uses it on her mother once.
Yeah, his words just that's because it's Linda. So this connects to a whole different side conversation in my head I'd like to have at some point, which is
Okay.
Bob and Linda's sense of smell when they're sleeping, and how both of them have or awoken to prevent or deal with potential fires. Because
Oh yeah.
we see Linda wake up this episode because of all the candles and incense Tina's burning, and then I
Hmm.
want to say doesn't Bob in the episode where there's actually a fire at the restaurant, Bob wakes up and smells the
Yes.
smoke.
I think that is Bob. And I think Gene inherited this ability to smell easy things as well, because then in the episode where it's show tunes and mouth moves, uh, they Gene does remind Linda that they were cooking Teddy a burger and it's on fire now.
By the time I will say, by the time that Gene says something, there is also black smoke coming out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
So there are visual
So
cues too.
I think there's everyone in that place is
TSA the musical.
if you see something, say
Oh
something.
God, I forgot. That's an episode that I forget about when we talk about songs. That we will have
It's
to.
such a good. Oh, it's so good. Because then there's the whole like reunion and bit between the two sisters.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, so it's in this episode we've got Tina's going around casting a lot of love spells, on you and
Mhm.
you, lots on you. That's primarily the main spell she's casting. She threatens the crossing guard that she's going to cast a spell on her because she goes,
Mhm.
um, well, gosh, I think Mr. Ambrose described her as Goth Brooks
Yes.
because she goes like just black choker necklace, like just very much more confident and outgoing in her interactions with people. You like
As
elbowing
she
Tabby
says
going,
to she says to Jimmy Jr., and I'm going to step on you for this one because I want to be able to say this. And it's, do you want to walk my ass to class?
yeah.
And I mean, it's an enthusiastic reply for Jimmy Jr.
Mm-hmm. Much more than we normally see from him. I
Hmm.
get we could do a whole gosh. We've just everything we want to talk about is just like we could just talk for 2 fucking hours on what a piece of shit Jimmy Jr.
Oh, he's just the worst.
He's the worst.
Oh
I
man.
love that Linda continuously points out that she doesn't like him and he's the worst.
Hmm. Yeah, no, he kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, but we could have a very long
Oh
conversation
yeah.
about the entire Pesto family,
Yes. But
or actually the Pavlovich family, if we're being honest.
gosh. So it's this. So this was actually a good trivia episode, I thought too, because in Tina's flashbacks we get 3 different costumes that she's appeared in the costume contest before, because we see her
Right.
losing 3 years in a row.
Do you think she used the same costume to trick or treat in?
We've never seen them before, so that would be a lot of. Oh, I know, like time is wibbly wobbly with St.
Well, I
God's.
mean, we do see the 2 years prior in season 11.
Right.
No, season 12. In this season, we see 2 years prior.
Season 11.
No, it's
Season
not.
11
No, it is
was
season
that one.
11. Yeah, yeah,
Was
it's the hotel Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Heartbreak Hotel Wing.
Yeah, so it's. I mean, we see 3 costume contests, costumes of Tina's. We get one of Louise's from a previous contest where she dressed up as Mr. Frond.
Mhm.
So yes, we get bonus costumes in this one, but we don't actually. We don't see any trick or treating in this episode.
No, not at all.
Which is it
Yeah.
the only Halloween one that doesn't have any trick or treating in it?
No, I believe
the
that
mention of
the
trick-or-treating?
pig does the pig episode doesn't have any trick or treating either, does it?
No, and I guess the haunting didn't either. We just talked about the haunting.
Yeah, yeah, we've already talked about it, so it has left our
Yeah.
mind. It
So
is
we've
it
got
no
3
longer
examples. It's
exists.
not unique. Ignore this point. Yeah, and then like the B plot is okay. It's Bob's making the pumpkins and someone stealing them, which is it's okay, but it has some of my favorite lines with his paranoia against Jimmy Jr. It's sneaking over here on your kitty cat paws.
I actually have some really good questions about this episode, so I'm going to hit you with one of them. I'm going to hit you with one of them right now. So, as they're discussing the stolen pumpkins, uh, what was it that Bob claims to have said after the second pumpkin was stolen? Because the first was stolen, he had a minor freak out, and then the second was stolen, and Linda claims he had a dramatic no. But what does Bob say he said?
Oh gosh, did he? I don't remember what he said. He said it's. I thought it was like I probably said or did something cool, but I can't. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, you got half of it.
Like he didn't say anything. I don't know.
He said something cool, like a swear.
Like it's. There we go. Yep.
Uh, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a great moment. I love Bob not knowing what he did, but being like, no, it was fine. It was good. It's the blind confidence that only comes with being a middle-aged man.
Yeah. Oh god, and then just like how just the moment where he reveals he used a stencil on the pumpkin and everybody just like just drops in terms of how impressed
That's
they
less
are.
cool.
Yeah.
I think we actually get a very fun Trev moment in this episode as well. I think this is right up there with Trev agreeing to trade Jimmy Pesto's underwear for an elaborate doghouse. That's another great Trev moment. But this one in particular is we find the first subject that Trev won't joke with Jimmy Pesto about. Uh, Pat, do you remember what he wants?
It's mental health,
Joke.
isn't it?
It is mental illness in particular. Mental. It's not a joking matter. It's serious.
Yeah.
Don't say it's serious. What's wrong with
Yes, it's not to jump in on your questions, but
you?
since we talked about how Tina had some old costume contests application or submissions,
Hmm.
do you remember what any of them were?
Oh,
We got three.
I yeah. Oh man. Let's see. Oh, I know the last one. She was absolutely robbed. It just
What was the name of the
no.
girl
I
that
did.
it was instead of her? Like
Uh,
Trina Beltstaff or something?
yeah. Yeah, it was almost the exact same name, but she had such a similar costume. What? No, I don't remember. I'm lost on it.
No, it's the very last one that I think we saw was her in a Liberace costume.
Yes, it was so yeah because it had all the feathers and shit. It was
Yes,
fantastic.
she was a literal Captain Kangaroo the year before that,
That's right.
and
Yes,
she was a
quality.
zombie Little Bo Peep the year before that.
Hmm. Is there a pun there?
For zombie, no, I think it was just a zombie. I don't think there was a Little
How
Bo Peep pun.
uninspired, Tina.
Well, I mean, it's not. I mean, we only also see it, so we never get. If there was a pun in the name, we would have had to figure it out too, like we do in the hotel one, which we'll
Right,
get to.
right. Oh well, I mean, will we?
We can skip to it if we want.
No, I do. That is also like one of my favorites. That is in my top three.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine wrapping up Tina Witch because
I mean,
it's
Tina Witch is good. It
yeah.
was. I mean, it resolves well. Tina and Jackie reconcile to a degree. There's some good moment of sibling camaraderie where Jean and Louise are walking alongside the runway to make sure that Tina doesn't fall
Mhm.
and die in the crowd. It's a solid episode, and I honestly think the ending scene where Mr. Fischoeder is driving Bob through the display of all the pumpkins that he's stolen this season, I think that is actually one of the most beautiful shots in the entire series. It is delightful just to look at.
with Teddy and a truck full of stolen bikes in the background.
Right, right.
Yeah, I felt like this is very much like in the middle of my list. It hits all the things I like. It's got Mr. Ambrose, who is always a fun character to have on.
Hmm.
And it's seeing Tina stand up for herself in episodes is always fun. Like when she like
Hmm.
shows confidence. So I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
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 So we got what is well after season 7 is season 8, and that one
Which is, I know we are both huge fans of.
is that one the Wolf of Wharf Street?
It is the Wolf of Wharf Street, my dude.
Yes,
Oh.
this is definitely in my top 3 or 5.
Hmm.
Um,
But it starts with tragedy.
which part?
When Bob hurts his leg trying to fit into his old chef
It
pants.
was a long story.
It's not a long story.
Oh gosh, wait, Paul F. Tompkins is in this episode. Who is Paul F. Tompkins in the show? Who does he
Um.
play? Wait, he's Randy? How did I not know that?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I was watching this episode, another episode. I was watching another episode with someone, and that was one of the trivia questions they suggested I use on you.
I would not have known who was the voice actor for Randy.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
also that's Broncodius from another one of my favorite
Is it?
episodes.
Oh my God, Brian. Oh, oh, that
that
episode
that
hurts.
yes,
It's a really rough one.
that is such a oh my, I love that episode. And it
It's
gives us
what
one of
it's.
the longest running continuity gags too, in that that's the introduction of Bob's tattoo or
I
tattoo.
love Bob's that.
His
Is
tattoo
it?
that is
Can
consistent
I?
the whole time.
How meta would it be for me to get a tattoo of
Oh,
Bob
Bob's
with the
tattoo.
tattoo? Yeah. Is that too meta? Because I feel like that would be
It's
a really
getting
fun
there.
gag.
I think it would be a really fun gag, but it's getting there. But yeah,
Oh,
not to divert us too far away from Wolf of Wharf Street, which deserves all of our attention. That's a really great episode.
oh, it's so good.
Yeah, Bob injures his leg, and is stuck at home, and is, going back to one of our previous issues with him and medication, specifically getting erratic and paranoid on his pain medication.
And having hallucinations.
Yes. He hallucinates on everything because it's his
He
allergy medication he
does.
hallucinates with the cats.
Oh, yeah. And he also hallucinates with when he's coming out of dental surgery with Gail.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Linda is not able to stay with and take care of him and make sure he doesn't do anything crazy on drugs because there's a wolf maybe in the
Maybe.
neighborhood. There's
And
a
if there that
possible
wolf,
wolf possibly terrorizing the town. So Linda's gonna go with the kids trick or treating this year.
and Linda's costume is absolute fire,
Yes, she's a sheriff.
complete with
Snap out
handcuffs
of
and a
it.
gun.
Yeah, and she forgets half of that in the apartment.
She forgets the
Yeah,
handcuffs.
so
This is going to become an important player.
we've got Linda as the sheriff. We've got the three kids. Tina is a mombi. She's wearing Linda's clothes and is a zombie. um, we've got Louise as the guy from No Country for Old Men, the killer, and then we've got Gene specifically as Handsome Grapes.
Specifically, handsome grapes. I don't know if that's a reference to something or if it's just Gene being a
I
weirdo.
think it's just Gene being because
Just Gene being a
I
weirdo.
think there's a kid dressed as Grapes in a previous year or two that I saw in the background.
Yeah, maybe that's
It's
King's Head Island.
maybe it's I don't know if it's like from the old Fruit of the Loom commercials where like they had people dressed up as the fruit. I don't know. Would be the only connection I could get. Be the only other time I could think of people dressing up as fruit.
I mean, but how there's not really another way to dress up as a grape though.
No,
I don't think Fruit of the Loom was being super original with that. I mean, if you're
no.
gonna become a grape, there's one path, and it ain't grape.
Yeah, but since we've got the Wonder Wolf, we've got and we skipped over Teddy's costume, which is Sexy Nurse.
Yeah, because you think you order a scary nurse, but the universe gives you what the universe gives you. And there's two news stories that night. Not only is there the news report of the possible maybe wolf that it could be terrorizing the town if it exists. There's also been a missing llama from the Wonder Wharf
Is it
petting zoo.
is it a llama or is it an alpaca? I can't remember.
I think it's an alpaca because it doesn't kill them, so it's probably not a llama.
It's not a homicidal llama.
Have you ever worked on a llama?
So, very first week of clinics, I had a patient. I can't remember if it was a llama or an alpaca.
Well, I mean, you're alive, so I assume it was an alpaca.
I think it was an alpaca. But yeah, so there is a missing alpaca from the. Does the Wonder Wharf have a petting zoo? I guess
It does.
is
It
this
does
has
have a
this been
petting zoo.
established before?
It has not. No, we
And we've
established that
never
it had a
seen
touch
it.
tank. No,
Well,
we
so
never see anything.
the aquarium has the touch tank, but the aquarium
Yes,
isn't
this is
technically
the same
in Wonder
season, I
Wharf.
think, that the aquarium is in Wonder Wharf. Yeah, so
Is it? Well, I thought it's like
I,
outside. I thought it's.
I mean, it's
I
on
feel
the
like
pier.
fish
It's
owner
like
would have gotten involved in
it.
that episode if he
I,
owned it.
I mean, I think it's like it's in the area. It is
Yeah,
like right along the coast.
I think it's
Maybe
like
not like
right
it's
along.
not part of the amusement park,
Yes,
but
yeah.
it's. But yeah, so they have all of this foreshadowing, and yeah, no, what were you gonna add?
No, no, no,
Ah, shit.
nothing.
Um, so Linda and the kids get out of the house,
Mhm.
and there is this foreshadowing moment where they run into Calvin and Felix Fischoeder because they have to appear in every Halloween episode. And they inform them that they should just go home and do candy things there
Mhm.
or whatever it is that people do. What's They make a suggestion for something to do. No, wait for Santa or Satan or whatever, right?
Yes, that was it. Yes, very much a like what it's a banana. What could it cost moment.
Right,
Um,
right.
yes, and they're going around looking for the alpaca and spreading the word that there's definitely not a wolf. That's crazy.
Hmm.
But still go home.
Hmm.
And this we briefly touched on this earlier. Our list of times that the family should have died or put themselves at risk of death. With this episode, the kids don't get any candy because nobody was prepared for trick or treaters, hearing that no one was going to come because of the wolf. And to impress the kids, the one time she is out with them, Linda has the idea to try and go find the wolf with them in the middle of the woods.
Yeah. But this isn't the only place that the wolf is appearing in this episode. Like let's not forget the wonder that is going on at the apartment right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
So Teddy is there taking care of Bob, who has already had one pill tonight. We address when
At
Linda
least
reminds
one.
us all that Bob right, that Bob hallucinates and gets all paranoid when he's on painkillers. And so Bob, being the persuasive man that he is, talks Teddy into giving him a pain pill, but not a full pain pill,
I'm gonna
two halves of a pain pill, so he'll know that he had at least one half.
I'm gonna break it into two halves. Take this half and then take this other half.
We know he had at least one half.
It's a weird way to ration it.
And then he notices the mark
Yes.
on Teddy's arm.
Teddy has a bite that no, it's not a bite. Why would you say it's a bite? Don't worry about it.
Hmm. It's a skin disorder. It's a rash. It's
Yes.
eczema, Bob.
And so we keep jumping into little bits of their interaction where like Teddy keeps letting more and more slip and like, oh yeah, it is a bite now. Oh wait, no, I didn't say it was a bite. You said it was a bite. And then Teddy like goes to the bathroom to excuse himself. And Bob just focuses in on how hairy he is, all the body hair on his neck and his arms, and this bite. And then Teddy is.
But before this,
yes.
he sees him. He sees him sitting on the couch, and he sees his face distorting
Oh
and
yeah.
elongating in a snout-like way.
Yeah, I think it was like
And
when he was laughing at the movie, right?
right, yeah, and I mean, as someone who has dabbled with a few hallucinogens a few dozen times, uh, it You know, there somebody on that writing team was writing from experience. It is
Hit a
a
little too
very
close to home with
realistic
that one.
hallucination. So I think it's a very great foreshadowing tool.
Mhm.
And then there's the terrible noises from the bathroom.
Yes, as Teddy's trying to get out of his, I guess, Spanx or whatever came with that. Like, it's not his Boidle, because that was
No.
in the deepening episode. This is some sort of like compression Spanx for his sexy nurse costume. Um,
Hmm.
which Bob hears as he's trying to control the beast inside of you, Teddy. Teddy's just letting out these animal grunts from the bathroom. And Bob is impressively quick thinking when he wants to be. Because like just in that time, his drugged ass on the couch puts together a plan with Linda's handcuffs to handcuff Teddy to the coffee table and then run out of the home. Um, yeah, he also so this is the episode that I actually made notes on for this, and
I mean, it's such a good episode.
I've got the note that Bob gets tied up in apartments a lot, and I'm trying to remember where else he got tied up in apartments. Or no, Teddy. Teddy gets tied up in their apartment a lot, is what I meant to write.
Yes.
Because there's this
Yes.
one, there's the Christmas in the car episode where he gets tethered to the
Hmm.
fridge.
Just a great episode. I love that scene. I love all of those scenes so much. And there's also the one where he throws out his back in the earlier seasons
Yes.
and then is tied to the door.
But yes, so it's I God, my notes for this episode are super dangerous mom date, werewolf Teddy, drugged up Bob is super resourceful. Bob on his bum leg trying to run out the building, then takes the longest time to fall down his staircase in existence.
Which one is longer? Is Bob's falling down the stairs in this scene, or is Teddy falling off the building
Oh,
longer?
off the at the lake house at Helen's lake house.
The lake house that we did establish that he learned how to safely fall from that
Yes.
through stunt school because that was earlier.
Yes, in our prep for this stream, we took one of our discussions was that Teddy has a lot of physical comedy gags where he falls off of things, and is seemingly still alive in situations that might have killed a lesser person, and established that all of those actually happen after Friends with Burger Fits, where Teddy and Bob get introduced to the stuntman boot camp, and we never find out that Teddy doesn't keep going to that. So maybe that's how he successfully falls off of all of these roofs without seriously injuring himself. Is my
It's got to be.
headcanon.
I mean, because he does also later on fall through a roof and land on like letter openers, I
Oh
believe.
God, yeah, I forgot about that because it's all off screen. We're just hearing about it. Today is tomorrow's yesterday
I still don't understand
bullshit.
why you had to leave those up. Why you had to leave the pins, but
The
the
letter
letter
openers are
openers
just
point
open
up.
facing up. Because it's a display. It looks nice.
So good.
But since we get Bob fleeing, trying to swallow the keys from Teddy, realizing that's not a real thing that people can do, which also is a recurring thing in the show because Tina tries when she handcuffs when Louise bike locks her to the head of Mr. Goiter, the merry-go-round horse, and then Tina swallows the key for that. Um,
But we learned that this family has a penchant for swallowing odd things. 'Cause Bob also swallowed, quote, some dice, which implies that it was multiple. And I don't know if that was just like a handful or several incidents where like maybe they were playing Truth or Dare as a kid,
Jeez.
and just as a running gag, everyone decided to dare Bob to eat dice.
God, so we get all of this gold just between Teddy and Bob, and then we get Linda and the kids questing into the woods. They run into Randy, who's a fantastic recurring character that we discussed earlier. Documentarian, food cart rival, um, whatever else he's shown up in. Because I know there's been
In
more.
Possibly, I think this might be his fourth appearance in the show because there was food truck, there was the meat documentary,
Oh,
there was the Halloween episode.
because Randy films a movie in the restaurant in one episode, like
I
his
think that's
conversation with
after
Death.
this, though, isn't
I
it?
think that might be after it, but we also get the family commercial, the Super Bowl commercial that Randy films.
Right. Oh, I feel like that was before this.
That was for sure. That was one. That was either season 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like, no doubt when we were trying to like promote this, I was the comment that I originally wrote on like to comment on your post was gonna be, why should you watch? Because it's great with Fry. And I was like, no, that's nobody's gonna get that fucking joke. And it's also that's a Super Bowl joke. We should have a Super Bowl episode to do that.
God damn it. That would have been perfect. I would have loved it.
Oh man, next time
Oh.
I'll throw it up on the Thanksgiving one.
There's just so much then gold between essentially Linda now babysitting the 4 children, including Randy. Because
Right.
he's not a grown up in all ways, Linda. He still wears a youth large at Forever 21. Oh, and
And
it's
he
telling Linda there's no dead ends in the woods as he can like walk right into a hedge. And then Tina just has one of the most scathing lines as like they think they're about to get killed by a wolf, which is, "If we all die, everyone, thanks for being cool." Randy says, "You're welcome." And she says, "Oh, Randy, I forgot you were here."
the burn. I mean, you can't let it burn like that inside the forest, man. You're gonna start a fire.
Gosh, and what they wind up finding is the missing alpaca in the woods, which Linda tries
Which
to
does
interact
attempt to
with,
attack
and
Linda.
launches off with like the biggest pterodactyl scream, essentially, to scare them all away. We get Bob winds up at the park as he's running down the street away from Teddy, who is racing down the goddamn road with a coffee table on his back, just as a sexy nurse.
And being very, very polite
Yes.
to everyone. He almost
Apologizing to
murders
everyone
on
that
the
he
street.
passes. Yeah, and we wind up at the abandoned Misty playground that exists, I guess, where we see Bob running into a real wolf. Who a van then shows up with the fish odors, and we get what is probably my favorite interaction between them, with them getting this wolf into the van.
Which is so good.
Which is Calvin telling Felix, "I told you weren't ready for a wolf." And Felix, "I am ready. The wolf house I was building wasn't ready, and I am not putting her up in a hotel again."
So good. It's just so solid.
Her name is Lulu. Her favorite type of pizza is Hawaiian. We get so much.
Her favorite type of pizza is pineapple.
Oh,
It's not Hawaiian. Because I was
Huh.
actually about to ask you that question.
I failed. Yeah,
It is explicitly pineapple. I don't.
So she
That's
doesn't
such
like
a
the
weird
Canadian bacon.
choice. I guess not.
Huh.
Wild, right? I don't. Such a bold choice. Is that the only reason it doesn't eat the clearly wounded Bob? Because we haven't really mentioned this. We mentioned that he was on crutches. Like, it looks like he really fucked up his leg. He's in a full leg cast.
Yeah.
Like, not a cast, but like a full leg brace.
Well, I mean, and then like even if it wasn't that bad to begin with, he falls down. Like we joked about it. He falls and stops and falls and stops at least 3 or 4 times on that staircase.
He falls, stops.
He gets like
falls.
halfway down, and this is all happening off screen because the camera is just focused on Teddy handcuffed to the table, yelling at Bob to make sure he's okay, and we just hear the falling start and stop. And start and stop. And Teddy's just like, "Are you at the bottom now, Bob? Wouldn't you like to know?" And then just starts falling again.
Oh, it's so good.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he was seriously injured. He would have been easy pickings for the wolf if she was.
Maybe the wolf is a vegetarian.
Was this before or after the episode where they have the water balloon fight at the fish odor mansion?
I feel like that's season 9, so it might be this one.
Because I'm curious, because in that episode, I guess I was trying to picture where on the fish odor estate the wolf house would be. And I know they don't run into any wolf houses when they're playing with the water balloons, even though they find like all this other cool shit. They find Felix's like whatever it's called,
His
treehouse.
treehouse
That's like a mansion inside.
with the laundry catapult.
Yeah, the fucking laundry catapult. So we're in season 8 for this,
Mhm.
and gosh, I think it's actually earlier. I think it's like maybe season 6 or 5.
Is that even before? Is Felix? Felix isn't even introduced yet. I don't think.
Um, the first episode that we see Felix in is when he redoes the
Is the
bathroom.
bathroom? Yeah,
Um, which
but I don't remember Felix being present in that episode at all.
which episode?
The water balloon fight.
So the Odor games. He's in the guest house because he talks to Louise and Jean in the
That's right.
treehouse.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, we just talked.
So it's
Shit. Okay.
so that one is at the episode of season 5. We're in season
Mhm.
8 for Halloween. So it it could have been that the Wolf House was since constructed and we've just not seen it because we've not been to the fish odor estate since.
Yes. Other than the time that they went to look at the pumpkin, the jack-o'-lantern
Well, that was
display.
the season before this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
So
we
we
don't know
didn't
when
see.
construction of the Wolf House began, just that it was
Mhm.
not ready in time for this Halloween.
Right.
Yeah, gosh, is there anything else we want to chat about in that episode before we?
Yes, because Bob, we don't see what Bob does with the keys, but we do hear him say that he threw them to the moon. And, and when asked to elaborate, he just says, "You would understand. You wouldn't understand."
I
Makes
did.
sense.
I specifically had that quote in my notes too. It's I didn't lose them, Teddy. I threw them to the moon.
So good.
Gosh, and then just in the chit chat at the end, as like the camera's panning out and the alpaca's just still walking down the street outside. Yeah, no, that's just it's just a very solid episode.
I
Um,
do think, like, harkening back to the last one too, I think some of the shots they do with the fog are, not as quite as breathtaking as they were last season with the pumpkin scene, but the difference in the fog effects between this and when they come out of the fog in full bars coming up to King's Head Island, it is such a different look, and it is so much cleaner, and it feels breathing. So I just think it's a massive area of improvement.
mhm. Yeah, and I mean, I think like we said, yeah, it's I think just everything worked about it. Like the both sides of the plot were very strong and like had like I mean we get Bob and Teddy pairings a lot, but not necessarily in the roles that we got them this time.
Yeah,
And
where Teddy is the
Randy is someone that we've seen primarily interacting with Bob and not so much everyone else, or at
Mhm.
least adversarial to Bob.
Mhm.
It was just very good. It was. I think
Definitely
it's
in my top
like
three.
yeah. I mean, so we've actually. Well, yeah, it's in my top. It's in my top 4. We've gotten to 3 out of my 4 top 4. Like
We've
between
gotten
this, the
two of my
haunting, and full bars are all up there for me.
I
Then
wonder if our later season one is the same.
it's
Hmm.
I know that it's not actually because
Oh,
mine is the next season,
okay.
which is
So that should lead us into that then.
yeah season 9 episode 4, Nightmare on Ocean Avenue Street. This in this episode, Ocean Avenue is going to be pedestrian only for Halloween. So all of the kids, all the storefronts are going to be giving away candy to the kids, because they're so desperate to draw in customers to their failing businesses. So it's we get all the different stores that we've come to know and love are where the kids are trick or treating this year, and they all have to just go right outside for it. And tragedy strikes as someone one by one starts picking off the children and stealing their bags of candy. Um, yeah, and
But
this
there is a bit of foreshadowing earlier in this episode.
there
We see Bob
is.
going through his mail, which is an unusual thing because normally it's established that Linda is the one who covers the bills by strategically bouncing all of their checks back and
Yes.
forth. And it is, I mean, it's Bill. Oh, it's a flyer from Dr. Yap offering to buy candy from kids at $1 a pound, and that's a crucial thing
Hmm.
later on in the episode.
Which, of course, no kid is going to go for because the first thing they would do
No,
with the money is buy candy.
as
Which,
Louise points out.
yep, which all the kids are quick to establish. Like, no, nobody's gonna take this offer. Fuck off, yeah. um, yeah. So it's we get that is kind of our main our A plot, and then we get a very what I think is a pretty solid B plot, a good Teddy plot, um, where Teddy is in this bit of a rivalry with another handyman. Um, to the point of like he's like the everyman, like he's the smell good handyman is what he's known for.
Ooh, wait, no, this was going to be one of my questions. I wrote it down. No, it's the smell nice
Smell
handyman.
nice. Okay.
Do
He
you
does
remember what
smell
Teddy's
nice.
title was?
Sorry.
Do you remember what Teddy's title was?
Um
Because Glenn was the smell nice handyman.
yeah,
He
because
did tell Teddy what everybody else called him.
oh god, it was like the everyman's handyman
He
or
was the handyman's handyman.
the handyman's handyman. There we go. Yes, because it's so Teddy and this other handyman Glenn essentially get into this competition where Glenn is decorating the outside of the store next door, the constantly rotating store, which at this time is those who candle store. And so Teddy, trying to impress Glenn, tells him that he was hired to decorate the Bob's Burgers storefront for Halloween, which he then agrees to do all entirely out of his own budget, so that he can make it true.
And goes absolutely overboard. Is still decorating the night of Halloween. Gets showed up multiple times. First, it's like, oh, this is a good display, and then ah, fuck, Glenn
Yeah.
has moving pieces.
Also, yeah, so Teddy has a very impressive spider. Then Glenn has like an actual bat that extends out from the building and is essentially flying fucking laps around. So then Teddy and Bob go out and try and get like some servos and shit for the spider so that it wriggles around. um, and then Glenn also has set up this very realistic ghost display that's a projection on a fine mist. Um, and I think that's the point where Teddy's just like over it for the night because it is well into the night at that point, and is
Hmm.
ready to give up. And then Bob interjects that Teddy is not done. That there's more they have to do to the spider. Um,
And chainsaw hands.
yes, where we enter. If Wolf was number one, we've entered our second of the times in the Halloween episodes alone. I can count that the family should have died, which is I believe they attach 4 chainsaws, 3 nail guns, and a hammer to this spider. um,
Because Teddy doesn't have enough chainsaws.
yeah. um,
Which we should still point out
that's a lot of
that for
chainsaws to get on short
chainsaw,
notice.
it's a lot of chainsaws.
And even
That's a
just
lot of functioning
yeah.
chainsaws.
And they rigged it up so damn fast too.
Mhm.
And I mean, even just as they're setting it up, Linda telling him, I'm not explaining to kids that their dad died in a like in a in a chainsaw spider accident." And also, if you cut off your hands, I'm not wiping you. You know our arrangement.
Which no, they talk about an arrangement at one other point, don't they?
I feel like they do.
Oh, I just can't remember it.
Mhm. So
Is it something to do with Tom Selleck?
it might be. That might be part of it. I'm
Ah,
sure
I
that's a
don't know.
specific clause in the arrangement.
Oh,
So
I
it's,
wish I.
we've got all of that the adult shit going on. We've got initially lots of costumes. We got lots of costumes this year. We got lots of costumes. We got
Mhm.
the kids in some of their best costumes. We've got Andre the Giant 3000. um,
Yes, fantastic.
um,
Unarguably great.
we've got the girl with the dragon tattoo. Or no, we've got the dragon with the girl tattoo that Louise is.
But Louise claims to have not seen the movie.
Yeah. Oh, flip the script. What do you mean? And then we've got Tina as a cranky nun. Got
No,
Tina,
no, as none your
none
business.
of your business. No, I get it. She's a cranky nun. What's the briefcase for, Lynn? She's got work. That's why she's cranky.
So good. I
But then,
love that one. That I think that might be my favorite Tina costume.
so then we also get Andy and Ollie as peanut butter and jelly.
Hmm.
I'm not sure who Daryl is in this episode. Who Daryl's costume is?
Because Daryl isn't Devo in this. Daryl was Devo
No,
in the
Daryl was Devo in
Fortnite.
Fortnite. Um, I know regular sized Rudy is Paul Rudd from I Love You Man,
Yes.
like specifically that role. But
Hmm.
I was not sure who, yeah, who Daryl was. I can't remember.
I don't remember. I also don't remember. Was Zeke in this episode?
Zeke and Jimmy Jr. Because they were more trick than treat this year. They were just talking about mischief with essentially just
Hmm.
throwing snappers at the ground. But then
Right,
they're the
right.
first ones that they accuse when the candy goes missing.
Hmm. Okay.
Because they were also going to go over to Mutilation Mansion at the Wharf. Um,
I feel like Daryl was in something like face covering.
so it's like a suit. It's like a gray suit and like a bow tie. It's like a fancy gray suit is all I've got for.
Oh, okay,
I don't
cool.
know if he ever says who he was because he
Maybe
they
he's the
don't
guy from the
because
Six
Tina
Flags
asks
commercial.
Rudy specifically who he is.
Hmm.
None of because all the kids are coming in distraught over their candy being gone. They're not like, oh yeah, I'm so and so. And so I wonder if they just don't establish who Daryl is.
I mean, it wouldn't be the wildest thing they've done up to this point.
No, but so it's yes, it's their mystery. Where's the candy? They keep getting picked off one by one. I want to say Gene gets hit next. By did Gene even see who got him? Because it's so far. I think at that point
No.
there had been like an astronaut, a devil, and then uh, a hockey goalie with a knife. And like no, and like none of the kids besides Louise understanding that it was Jason. It's like no, that's Jason. It's like, I don't know hockey players, Louise.
It's a good one. And I like eventually like I love the fact that this is their first of two shield wall references in the show. Because when it's only Louise with the candy, they all encircle
Yes.
her and like walk along as a guard.
Mhm.
But to no luck, as
No.
Louise's candy soon falls as well.
Yes, it's they convince themselves to be safe in the stores. Tina gets taken in the store. Louise surrounds herself with minions, and then a gorilla is in their midst and takes hers and escapes on an electric scooter. We get the brief reappearance of Andrew, the bus driver, who is just
Hmm.
the very friendly bus driver that we see, who apparently runs the one route in town because we never see any others. Yeah, and it's they follow the gorilla into God. What I just said what it was, but I can't remember the name of the haunted house. I said it like
The
a minute
gore.
ago.
Yeah, no, I remember
Uh,
because it was what Jimmy Jr. and Zeke were gonna go to.
yeah.
Gore Manor or something like that.
Mm,
Nope, I have no idea. I don't know,
well, they
man.
go there. They
Yeah,
follow the gorilla into their mutilation mansion, I think.
Mutilation
Yeah.
Mansion. That's it.
Um, they Tina and Jean stay outside because they're scared, and Louise drags all of the other children inside. Um, and eventually, Jean and Tina run in and save the day and tackle the gorilla as he was about to get away. And it's revealed that it's old man Yap. It's good old Doctor Yap. Who cares about he there was the new candy this year all the kids were obsessed with. Oh, what was it called? Something sugar
Oh,
booms.
salted sugar booms, sour sugar booms.
Shit, I can't
I
remember.
don't know.
But
But this
essentially,
is
then it
like
just like melts their teeth. And so Yap is like, I care about you kids. I couldn't let you do that to your teeth. That's why I had to hunt you down like animals.
this is probably the first time that we see any redeeming aspect of Yap, and it's not really redeeming. It's
Not that
just understanding from a slightly more it is less chaotic evil and this one is lawful evil, and you're like, okay, cool, I understand what you're doing.
Mhm.
Like this gets into that weird Ouroboros that is chaotic good and lawful evil are just they are almost a perfect circle in their overlaps.
Well, see, and it's I think we see not to go off on a whole Doctor Yap episode now. I feel like we see him take his job seriously in pretty much every occasion. He's very invested in his waiting room and making sure that's great with the magazines and the vibe. When Louise has to get the cavity filled, he goes out of his way to like accommodate all of the role playing bullshit they have to do to get her into the room.
He does give her shit about it though.
Oh yeah, but like the fucking arrangement the two of them had initially, he's terrified of that girl. Don't tell her I didn't wait the full 10 minutes. And then the episode where Bob is stuck to the chair, he does know a lot about solvents and shit. He can't help in that situation.
I mean, yeah, but also he does just play a guitar while he's working on Bob and doesn't change gloves, which I feel like that's a pretty big red flag right there. And he does try to fuck one of his clients. Uh, oh, what is the term that he used? He used a certain term for Gale that was like a Pornhub category or something.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh shit!
And the episode that Bob,
No,
like when
I
they
know
went to
the
the,
exact line that you're talking about.
yeah,
It's petite brunette or something like that.
I
I
might
don't
have
know. It
been
was the
mature
word
or
petite.
amateur or
I don't know.
something.
It was yeah. No, it was very specific on his part. And
Yeah.
it's I was that was not that was more of a thought exercise for where I could see like Yap puts his energy. Not that Yap should be. Not that I find Yap redeeming in any way.
No, no.
It's one point I was gonna make was like I feel like episodes with Dr. Yap kind of very much ride that line of how much secondary embarrassment can you deal with in it.
Mhm.
He straddles it very well. Where there's some episodes that I'm like, "Oh, I don't want make his character go away," but like
Mhm.
Big Fat Greek Bob, he's like like his whole fucking scheme in that is great.
Oh man, it's painful to watch. That is
Oh
that
yeah,
episode hurts me.
it's outrageous what he does, but it's he's been doing all of the pranks for years.
Oh man, but this Bob getting covered in spit
Oh
almost
my
makes me
god.
gag just
Yes.
thinking about it. It's really bad. It is
Oh.
well, singularly probably the most viscerally uncomfortable shot in the entire show. I can't think of one that's worse. Uh,
Yes, I mean we went down a yap hole
we
on the
did.
Nightmare on Ocean Avenue discussion. Um, Only thing I think we didn't get to in the plot was after after Yap made his fucking evil villain monologue about like you could say your candy has been incinerated, and they run out to the incinerator, and you got the guy that's like, oh, I didn't know it was Halloween. I've been in a coma for years. It's like, okay, Mr. Incinerator, real cool to meet you.
So they do get some of the candy that year, at least
They
some of
do.
the
That's
candy.
the year they get the most candy. They get the whole
But they
stash.
do share
They
it with
do. They're
everybody.
generous and they share it with all the kids. Even Zeke and Jimmy Jr. get some. Tina gives them
Mhm.
shit for being too scared to go into Mutilation Mansion.
Mhm. Um,
Somehow
yeah,
nobody was killed when that fucking murder spider went out of control literally immediately.
it did like saw several things off and
Yeah.
things collapsed. It did probably $1,000+ in
Oh my!
property
Like
damage in just a second or two.
the chainsaws are at least limited to the thing's range, but it was wriggling a lot further than it was earlier too. And those nail guns were, I assume, going off as well. And I feel like
Yeah,
that was flailing all over the place. How no one
didn't it
was
like
injured or died is beyond me on that one.
that's a big one on that. No one died.
And Teddy
That's
being
a
like,
big
"It's
one.
it's I'm gonna go real slow with it," and immediately it goes fucking crazy.
Oh, it's rough. Okay, so but this is your favorite, right?
So it's Haunting is my favorite. This is in like the top
This
three or
is
four.
okay. That's right.
This
Yeah, yeah.
rounds off like my top group. The like
Is
all
it?
of the ones coming I still enjoy, but
Mhm.
they're more kind of like not the ones that like are my favorites to rewatch. I guess I don't know why I say I like rewatching all of them. So it's
They're great.
yeah.
Okay, so next episode then. Anything else we need to add for this one?
Nah, we're good there.
I mean this one it's not one of my favorites, but I really enjoy it. It is Big Trouble, Big Trouble
Pig
in Little
Trouble in Little
Tina.
Tina. Yep.
Yes, and it is a very relatable scene to those of us that aren't vets. The terror and abject horror. Like, I still can feel myself gagging at the smell of formaldehyde from that
Mm.
fucking pig fetus that I had to dissect when I was in ninth grade over 3 days. Which, it didn't stink after the third. It was fine.
Mm.
It was a bad time. And Tina gives in to peer pressure during this fetal pig exam because they're all talking about how cute their dead little piggy is. But Tina's looks weird, and so Tina joins in making fun of the poor dead pig
Mhm.
to fit in with the cool kids who were apparently literally everyone else. And
Well, and specifically, it was to get an invitation on a haunted tractor ride where all of the kids were going to be making out. So
yeah.
she had to make herself cool for that because she started to defend her pig initially,
Hmm.
and then Tammy pulled a fucking Tammy move,
Hmm.
which was I don't think we really need that kind of energy on the hayride.
I so this might be a reason why I really enjoy this episode because this is another one of those I don't like to think that Tina is the one that I identify the most with, but looking at it pretty objectively, there's a lot of times that I'm like, yeah, okay, I get Tina in this moment because not only do I understand the very much displeasure of dissecting that pig,
Mm-hmm.
but I also remember going on hayrides looking for an excuse to make out. Like that is in the history of Zan right there.
Gosh, and it's I mean,
It's so relatable.
so this was a really neat one too. Like this one very much like leaned into like the Friday or not the Friday the 13th, the Nightmare on Elm Street type things with
Hmm.
Tina essentially being sleep deprived from the guilt over this fetal pig. And like seeing it in all her nightmares, and essentially playing very much like the Freddy Krueger role of not knowing it, not knowing if the scene you're in is Tina dreaming or not, until
Hmm.
something weird fucking happens. And has a fucking terrifying scene still too, with like
Oh
at one point
yeah.
like the pig's like it's I think is when she's asleep during her test at that point, and the pig is
Hmm.
pulling out all its intestines and like floods the room with it, and
Yeah,
it's like
it's rough.
there
There's
was
some
like some
really
good
hard
disturbing
visuals.
imagery in this one.
Louise growing six arms is a little
Oh
unsettling too.
god, yeah, that was I think that's why I didn't like love this episode was the costumes were just like Louise growing six arms, and then Jean was what Fiona applesauce made of
S-
applesauce.
Yes, but I think that is maybe my favorite Jean costume.
Really,
I love Fiona applesauce, Fiona's apple,
it's
Fiona
great.
apple,
It's just
saucy ant.
it's weird to see it. It's weird to see dream version of it.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm being negative. I still really like this episode.
it's it's good. I like the resolution where Tina realizes that she's the one uh, creating the torment that she's under. The pig chasing her is her own guilt at it. As the pig tells her, "Oh, I'm not doing this. You're doing this." And then they decide to go on a friend date, but only a friend date.
God, yeah, forgot about that. Well, and
This is
it's
the first time we see a dead animal actively hit on Tina and not just be present in her fan fiction for the horses.
So I mean, we get her dating a goose at one point,
That is right.
but
Is
it
that
is a
in this
live
season?
goose. I think I think that happened already.
Oh
I'm not
God.
sure.
This is the first time the zombie aspect of it has come into play with an animal. What? Oh man, Tina is oh, it's a lot going on there.
Yep, a lot to unpack. But yeah, it's gosh, what else to say about that episode?
I,
What was the what were Bob and Linda doing?
I mean, who knows?
Oh, the earwax.
Yes, that's
Yep.
the
Which that was fun.
that.
It's everybody tell everybody like, "Are you dying?" It's like, why does everyone keep asking me that?
Oh man, and Gene eats the fucking
Oh
earwax
my
at the
god,
end.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Yeah, great episode. Really good stuff. It was in my top. I would say it's in my top four. I don't think it's in my top three, but I really enjoy this episode.
It does again have a check for me with a Mr. Ambrose appearance just for literally a one line cameo walking by in the background as they're doing their research in the library. I think the line is something like, "Oh, Seishin Tabutsu haunting, huh? That's my 20s in a nutshell," and just keeps walking by.
I need to know more about his backstory.
Right?
Okay.
But yeah, that so was that
Next,
season, am I getting ahead of myself? Was that season 9 or 10?
I think that was season 10, episode 4. So next we've got
Yeah.
Heartbreak Hotel-Ween.
Oh wow, we've only got we're down to our final two.
Oh man, we're getting there. We're chewing it.
Yep.
Uh,
I mean, yeah. You go for it. You go.
oh no, this is actually spoiler. This is my favorite Halloween episode. This is in my top three. It's in my top three solidly. I don't know if it's my favorite. Changes on the day because there's just it's a romance Halloween episode, which is always a really fun one. I
Mm-hmm.
like it when they try to tie in a side character's romantic life. I'm generally a fan of it in every episode that they do, whether it's with Teddy or if it's with, Tina chasing one of her 2 dozen love interest.
Oh my!
It's always
They go with Nat in the limo on a road trip up to see her ex girlfriend.
oh right. Ooh, that one's or the episode where Tina is being Tammy, so Tammy can
Oh,
see so Sammy can be an oot gif.
is it new? I can't keep track. I can't keep track of their fucking abbreviations. I know. I remember BFOBs.
Mm-hmm. Boy from
Um,
another town, and
yeah,
oot gif is out of town girlfriend.
BFOB. That okay. Got it. Oh my gosh. I can't keep track. I can't. They're abbreviations. They fire them off too fast.
Oh, it's great.
Um, yeah. So like you said, not just romance, ghost romance, which is great.
Mhm.
Um, I love the entire adult plot happening in the background here too of them taking blood phobic Bob to donate blood when Teddy discovers he's a universal donor and is never given blood.
Mm-hmm.
And they take him over to Transylvania. The whole fucking themed vampire bloodmobile is great. I loved everything
I mean,
about
I
it.
would definitely do that. Let's be
Yeah.
real. You go and you get blood on Halloween, and then it takes 2 beers to get you drunk. It's a win-win.
We've got the one. We've got like the male tech there who wants to who's just doing all the different voices. Hey, Mist, I'm gonna save the rainforest.
You're doing wow. You're really doing a lot of characters there, huh?
Gosh,
I thought you said oh man, the conversation about needle weenies.
yes,
I thought you said you were good with needle weenies. Yeah, well, you're the biggest weenie I've ever had.
yeah.
Uh, oh, it's just wonderful, and I as someone with O negative blood, I distinctly remember getting phone calls every 2 weeks in high school, trying to get them to like give me to for me to give them a double platelet donation, and it was like a 45-minute process, and it was weird as shit because they would put it back into you and it would be
Yeah.
room temperature, which was really nice in the summer, but icky in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it
Oh
was
god, that'd be
terrible.
weird. Yeah.
Oh man, not a fan. I mean, I remember one of the only like little honors things that I walked out when I graduated high school that I had was a red cord for giving blood 8 times. And I mean, you can only do that between the ages of 16 and 18.
Mm-hmm.
So I was constantly had a needle in my arm for that span, and not for the reasons that you would expect.
Jesus. That's funny. So you're O negative. I'm AB positive. Like Teddy. I'm half an ABBA.
Useless, useless blood.
Yes, exactly. That's super useful for me. Give me
Oh my,
anybody. Just give me
oh my God.
anybody. I'll take all your
I
blood.
am, I mean, I at least have the potential to star in the next Mad Max movie.
Well,
Be a blood bag for somebody.
so that's just the B roll of the episode, folks. We got
Right,
we
right. We're
got
still on the B-roll.
yeah, we got the whole episode is just a very deep dive into Luis's obsession with revenge throughout the series. It's not that deep a
Mhm.
dive, but they do touch on this theme, where Luis has this whole scheme where they're going to go rec- what would be the best expression? Execute justice on a house that has stiffed her on candy for 2 years in a row,
Mhm.
which they did do.
They
We
did.
get to see we get to see 2 previous years of Belcher children Halloween costumes, which though
Hmm.
that might be my favorite year between them, just because of how creative all 6 of those are.
Right.
Because
See, what
it's
have we got?
we I mean we went through them and we got like just a few of them. Um,
Yeah, we did have to look some of them up. They were too clever for us. I
yeah,
remember 16 door handles being
yeah, 16
being too
handles is a
clever.
bit much.
Right.
So she's dressed as the character from 16 Candles, but just with doorknobs all over her door handles. In the
Hmm.
other year, she was a Toastbuster, so a Ghostbuster
Right.
with like
So
a
good.
toaster attached to the
Mhm.
gun.
Had like a special Toastbuster patch too.
Yes,
It really there was a lot of minute details that made that work.
we had Jean dressed as a cat as Cat Stevens.
Yes, he did have a guitar as well.
Yes, and the year before that, he was dressed as like a baby with like a head wrap and big
That's right.
glasses. He was
Hmm.
either Lady Goo Goo Gaga or Baby Gaga.
Right, right.
um,
And that was one of the other ones that we had to look up to
Definitely had
figure
to
out.
look that one up. And then both of Luise's I think we didn't get, because she was like a burger and the bun was covered in blades, so she was a blade bunner. Um, and then
All
she was
right.
a carton of orange juice with a bunch of cockroaches all crawling over the side because she was Beetlejuice.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Oh man, Louise's were too good that year.
Yeah. Um, and then that final year, they're a giant snail so that they can steal an entire bowl of candy into their through their fart hatch or their fart
Mhm.
port, I think was the name of it.
Right, right. The fartboard.
Yeah, they get on this distraction at the hotel at the God, what's the name? Is it the Spinnaker Hotel? Is that the name of it?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
with
And they
sorry,
don't normally do deliveries, but
no,
they
but I
did
was just like,
tonight.
I guess we should because it's money and it's right there and money is good. He's just like confused at the prospect of it. So they go and they find this creepy old lady who's doing a ritual, who makes it sound like they're going to be part of the ritual. So they run away. They drop part of their
And then,
costume.
yeah.
Um,
Then they have to come back and they realize that she mentions the bait and they understand that the bait is the burger because she's trying to summon the spirit of her ex-lover so she can banish him to hell
yes,
for cheating on her the night that he died.
yes.
do you wanna talk about the scenes that were set up in the past?
Sure. I mean, we had the party. We had she was Tippi Hedren from the Birds. Um,
Mhm.
God, what was the
Great
boyfriend's?
costume as well.
Hmm?
The boyfriend of Spartacus,
No, I know
because
he
when
was
he went,
Spartacus. I can't remember what his actual name was though.
oh yeah, I have no idea. His name
Like,
was Dead Guy Number 3.
because he was Spartacus. Because it's she kept trying to ask like, just where is Spartacus? And everyone kept saying, I'm Spartacus, and I hadn't seen the movie, so I didn't get it.
Oh,
She and it's they're dancing at the party. He's really showing off, catching peanuts in his mouth. Um,
mhm. They had
and
just had this new thing called Thai food
yep,
beforehand.
yeah, they went to try Thai food. He got a cold, and then she goes to like the bar to get a drink or something and can't find him and was told that Spartacus was going upstairs with Jeannie from I Dream of Jeannie.
Hmm.
Um, and then he was found in that room the next day with a heart attack. Um,
Right.
so he died
And
after.
so he cheated on her. So in her mind, he died cheating on her.
Mhm.
This is the second time we've had a ghost that Gene might describe as a scoundrel.
Scoundrel.
Yeah,
Jeff's a
because
scoundrel.
nobody said it, but Jeff is a scoundrel. Oh, it's good. It's a solid descriptor. I feel like that's a consistent role that Gene plays. It's
Yeah, we
very
get
niche.
we get all of the fans that this lady who does this every year at the hotel. Um, she is essentially attracted like some groupies isn't the right word, but like an avid fan club that shows up each year trying to see ghosts, which includes fan favorite Gus, everybody's favorite old grandpa.
Gus is great, and this is actually a sea lion love story.
Hmm.
That and get that because that's a pun too, because Gus is normally by the water.
Hmm.
um, I really enjoyed this little bit of a romantic subplot as well. It's
Yeah,
very sweet. It was very cute.
and just how like very upfront it is too. It's like Gus is just she'd be an age appropriate option for old Gus. It's just like yeah, I don't I don't know how much else there is to say about it. It just
Um,
works very. It's just a nice little story.
it's very cute. What are the
They
parents doing to this?
the blood. They're getting the blood
That's
drawn.
yeah, yeah, that's right. Oh, we did just talk about
Yeah,
that.
so
Okay, you know what?
Bob is
We're a
freaking
couple
out.
hours
Everybody else
in.
is outside the van enjoying cookies already. He thinks that
Right.
they've taken out all of his blood, and then he's just falling all over the goddamn
And then
place.
he bleeds everywhere.
Yeah.
Ah. Oh, it's a
And
hard
then
one.
it's the kid essentially trying to analyze this. Tina decides to make it her mission to prove that dead guy number 3 did not cheat on spooky old lady number 1 that I also can't remember the name of.
Right, right.
Um, so Tina decides to prove that wasn't the case and that Luis should not go down this life path of vengeance, and that if she can prove it, then they get to trick or treat like normal and not do Luis's plan. And they piece
Hmm.
together eventually that dead guy number 3, through a series of random happenstances in the hotel, they piece together that he probably had a peanut allergy. Um,
Hmm.
and so like didn't know about it, and so that's why he acted all sick after eating Thai food and then from throwing the peanuts in his mouth. And they see looking in the picture that the old lady had like hidden to like hide clues away because she didn't want Tina to be right and her to have wasted so much of her life doing this.
Hmm.
um
Yeah, but they have that really good heartfelt moment of
yeah,
where
it's
uh,
sorry, I gave that more shit, and Tina does tie it in a nice way at the
she
end.
does. She reminds the old woman that maybe her vengeance is just her way of keeping her partner alive. And it's a
Yeah,
very sweet sentiment and it's a very human moment. It's one of the more touching things in a Halloween episode, I think.
yeah. I for, honestly, I think I forgot about that point. I like that.
It is a rare, I wouldn't say a rare moment of insight, but it's
Yeah, Tina
a
just
good moment of showing the kids like actually functioning as humans.
Tina seems to just drop those bombs every so often,
She
or she has
does.
like situations like perfectly pegged.
Hmm. But I think that that's probably it for that one. Is there anything else?
Um, gosh, I'm just flipping through stuff to see if there was any other just side things in the background. No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
So we got.
Then
Should we?
one.
Let's finish this with the
We're gonna finish strong.
the
Um,
pumpkin.
ink, 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 ink. Uh, I think that this had my favorite Louis costume.
Oh gosh, what were the? I've blanked on the costumes.
I don't remember the other two
Jeans. I
because
remember
Louis
jeans.
eclipsed them. What was Jean?
Jeans. I believe Jean was a gladiator, a gladiator who just got his master's.
Yes, that is correct. Okay, I remember
um.
that now.
Oh god, what was Louise?
Louise was
Oh wait,
Peter
wait.
Pan's
Oh, the
lap.
Peter's PS. The
Oh,
eyes.
just the woo. I mean, Bob did not react well.
No.
Bob asked
I mean,
Linda
I
to
don't
pick her
blame him.
stuff.
Louise does. I feel like she does that shit all the time too. The Valentine's Day episode where we meet Nat for the first time and they go and get makeovers, and she just gets the the fucking pitch black mouth with the jagged fangs.
Oh yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Oh god. So what was Tina's costume?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh wait. Okay, here we go. It was. I'm cheating. I'm looking.
Okay,
But
all right, that's fair.
she was. Okay, did something with the Loch Ness monster, Sherlock Ness monster
The
Holmes.
Sherlock Ness monster. Yes,
Yeah,
that was it. Yeah, 100%. That was it. That like I think maybe as a cohesive unit, this is the best one.
mm-hmm.
They're
It's
all
this was
just
I
so
think
strong.
this one and then the years past in the snail one that we saw. I think was
Mhm.
were the years that like we've seen all three of them come at it with like some like play on word or like combination of
Mhm.
things. Um,
I think this is the only one where they were all in the same year though, because in the past ones, I don't think there was a single year that they all were fantastic. Like spread out, they all
mhm.
had a fantastic one, but they weren't all the same year.
Yeah,
Because I don't know, I feel like Cat Stevens was a. I mean,
a little bit
it
of a
was low
gimme.
hanging fruit.
It was low
Yeah.
hanging fruit. But yes, we've got the pumpkining, which is it's a gal episode. It's a
Hmm.
strong gal episode.
And we
Um,
learn a weird thing about Linda. It's that she is a
she
fucking
pooped in a
world class
convertible.
pumpkin carver. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so go ahead, give us the lowdown on this
Yeah,
one.
I mean, like the opening scene is Gal and Linda in high school, which we all recognize their high school forms from Purple Rain Union.
Hmm.
And it's them in the aftermath of what appears to be a pumpkin massacre, where they've destroyed all of the entrants in that year's pumpkin carving contest.
They show Linda holding her pumpkin and then dropping it, and Gail sees it. And so Gail comes over to ask about it and picks up her pumpkin to say something. And then she slips and her pumpkin falls. And as she falls, she hits the table and a third pumpkin falls, and it's someone completely unrelated. Now they're like, fuck, we got to do something. And so they smash all of them, ruin the entire
Yes,
competition
it
before a
is.
winner
It
can
is.
be
It is
announced.
100% Gail comes up with the plan too. She's just.
Mm,
She's like, we pull out a pin from under the table, make it look like it fell apart on its own.
yep.
Gail knew how to set the scene for the
Hmm.
crime. But yet we get that flashback. We get Linda and Bob setting up in the restaurant for trick or treating because I guess I don't know, has Ocean Avenue stayed pedestrian only now? Because like the stores are all still
Well, it
giving away
seems like,
candy.
yeah, the high amount of foot traffic that was in here makes me think that it was still like foot traffic only.
And so I mean we see we see Bob's candy is trash that he picked up, which is not the first
Hmm.
time we see that. That was in a previous episode as well.
You saw old man's bitters or
Old man's
old.
bitter drops. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, was that episode or this one? I can't remember.
that was the.
They're not too sweet.
I feel like that. I feel like that was this one, wasn't it?
Old man's bitter drops.
Or it was old something's bitter drops.
Yeah. No, I think it was just old man's bitter drops.
Oh shit.
Um, but yeah, so because there was a previous one too where he had really bad candy, and Linda was like apologizing to all the kids for it. That was I think it was um
I know.
the one with Teddy and the decorations when they were all
Ah,
on.
okay.
I think it was that same one.
Mm.
Nightmare on Ocean Avenue Street.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, that is that the one where he had the bitter drops. I feel like it is.
I think it. I'm not sure, but he definitely had the shitty candy in that one.
I thought like this year he had like black licorice or something.
I can't remember. I
Or am
think
I crazy? I
I
might be
can't
crazy.
remember. It's I can't. It's they're blending together the conversations
Hmm.
because it's when they actually confront him about his shitty candy, and they're just like, it tastes like plants. And he's just like, yeah, that's what they were going for. But
It's
this
good.
was the year that they officially became a don't go here place.
Yes. But Bob does cave to the pressure.
Yes,
And
I
he
mean,
goes out, buys this year's hottest candy.
oh god, what was the name of the candy this year? It was it Sour Patch Babies or something?
I feel
Sour Babies somethings.
mm, was it baby something? I thought it was like
I feel like baby was in the name.
really okay. All right.
I might be wrong, but
I
it's
mean,
what I'm trying to picture is that fucking dead-eyed Frankenstein kid that comes in and was like, "Do you have tropical sour whatever babies?" And Bob is just like,
mm,
"Wait, what?" And then it's just like tropical sour whatever babies. It's just like, no, I just have the normal kind.
but
It was just the most strange child to be just that confrontational about that specific type of candy.
I mean, you remember the look of heartbreak on the other child's face when he ran out, like towards the end, at
No,
the end
it's
of
the
the night.
very last. Do you know a final trivia question from me for the end of the night?
Hmm.
Do you know what the costume was of the child that did not get one?
I do believe that it was the dinosaur of full bars.
I don't think so. It was a. I'm pretty sure it was a penguin.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was a penguin. Yeah. Okay. Wasn't it specifically the penguin from the old like claymation movie?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how different penguin costumes are, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much
Okay. I'm gonna let you
variation there
talk
are.
to Danny DeVito about that, and we'll agree to disagree.
Well, yeah. I guess I meant yeah, and the animal.
Oh, the animal guy.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's a different story. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
But
but
yeah,
this year the kids just stay in the restaurant, like right?
yeah,
That they just like.
that was the only thing that this episode felt. I liked each part of the episode. It just felt like, to me, it felt like the Gail and Linda story would be the B story in a different episode, and then the
Mhm.
B story of Bob and the kids just wouldn't be in an episode because it was just them watching him run out of candy,
Yeah,
which was
the
still
kids didn't
great
really
because it's like,
contribute.
hmm?
The kids didn't really contribute to this episode.
No, it was weird. It was just them panicking there.
Yeah.
In like a few witty like liners in there. But even there wasn't. I feel like not a whole lot happened in that part. Like Bob
Mm-mm.
didn't have many interactions with the kids. There was just there was the Grim Reaper that just came in once and then came right back in and then came back in with a baseball cap. It's my
Right.
dad's hat.
Yeah, it could have been a lot, but I I wish that the episode would have been about 20% more Gail and Linda.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been my ratio because, yeah, I mean, with what was able to be recalled easily between the two of us, granted, THC and inhibition, THC based memory loss aside, like, there's very little that we can recall about the Bob and the kids half of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So we're only going to remember that much anyway. Let's really lay in on the Gale and Linda
Mm-hmm.
because the bit where they were at their old bully's new like pet salon
The
or
grooming
something.
salon, yeah. Oh, it
Yes,
was
it was
great.
so good. Like, oh, it was such a wonderful scene. I would have loved to see that gone on a little bit longer.
Yeah. It's
Or
like, Gail, come here. Come here. Sit right here.
come here, girl. Doesn't she put a collar on at
She
some
does.
point?
She puts a cone on her. Yeah. And so she takes like one of the e-collars, the cones, and like reverses it and
Mhm.
puts it down is to essentially act as like a smock.
Yes, that's right. That's what it does. Okay.
I have a great product. It's for wire hair terriers, but you've got the same hair.
Which is very concerning. I don't think Gale conditions very often.
Oh gosh, what was the name of the puppy that was chasing the? Was it Jasper? Was that its name? I feel like something with a J, but it was like it's the principal's dog. It's
Yes.
Baxter, maybe. It's like
Yes, it was
Baxter needed
Baxter.
to get a haircut. Baxter needed to get a haircut. He's dressing up as James Spader from Blacklist for Halloween.
It's good. It's good shit.
Yeah, I'll get it.
It does seem like last minute costume for the dog though.
Yeah.
Like it's already dark at that point.
Oh god, there's the other guy that they stop and harass first before they go to scary. Not. Oh, I forget what her name is. Scary something. But like they go to the
It's,
other guy first that they ran into that night of the pumpkin contest. That they told they were smoking marijuana under the bleachers.
Mhm.
And it's they go to his house first and start hassling him. And it's on the way there, Linda's like, oh yeah, he lives at his mother's house. And Gail's just like, because she killed her? And Linda's like, no, because she moved to Florida. Because she killed someone? And Linda's just like, Gail, not everyone kills someone. And Gail's like, that's not true. I'm just like, what the fuck
Uh,
is going on, Gail?
I do think this is the least cringe Gale episode.
Yeah, it's Gail is another one like Yap that really kind of like rides the line for like whether this is like fun levels of uncomfortable or whether it's like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm just kind of sad.
Like this or the museum episode, where she is a security guard at the
Yeah.
museum. I think those are my least cringe Gale episodes. She's got a good one in It's Hard in Cat Show Business or Show Cat
Yeah,
Business or
the Mr.
whatever.
Business
She's
episode.
got a good point in there, but she's still very cringe.
Yeah. The the episode we actually talked about it. It was the kids run away when we were talking about how like Yap going through that for her to get her filling. And it's like
Mhm.
they spent a good chunk of that episode kind of just shitting all over Gail's life as a way to like fuck with the kids. But
Mhm.
then they tie it back at the end with like she knows like Bob and Linda are saying like she outparented us, and it's like, and Linda's like, yeah, maybe we should have her move in, and Bob's like, yeah, I'm gonna call you on that. Yes. Linda's like, no.
It's good.
So that was one that I felt like, as much as it did shit on her, balanced things out at least in the end, and like acknowledged her
Mhm.
strengths. Um, oh god, Purple Rain Union is very cringe, but it bounces back into like enjoyable for me with her fucking song for Derek D. Metalopolis.
Uh, it's so good. And Bob finally has a good reunion.
Yeah,
Wait, do all of you work, or all of
for all of
you?
you in skincare. It's like, no, I do hair pieces.
And the one person that is a pharmaceutical rep.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh god, was that our first episode of Jen, the babysitter?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, because there's the wonderful moment where all of the kids get black eye. So, Pat, this is
You
really
get black eye,
reminiscent.
I get a black eye. What happened? There was a black eye fairy came around and kissed us all with black eyes.
You wouldn't understand that.
That's babysitters.
So, it's very reminiscent of a scene from what might be my favorite movie, and that is Detroit Rock City. I love this objectively probably not great movie that does star the adult version, or I wouldn't say the adult, the teenage version of the kid from Terminator 2. It's a fascinating film, and
It stars that kid's actor, right?
yes,
It's not
as
a film
he's
about the kid from Terminator 2 like
no,
later in
I
his
mean I
life.
hope not. It would be a very Benjamin Button situation if it was. Uh, he there's a moment where they've all failed to get tickets to a Kiss concert,
Mhm.
and so their plan is to just beat the living shit out of each other and go to the front door and tell them that they got mugged and someone beat them up and took their tickets. And so there is a whole like set to classical music, them just beating the shit out of each other, them spitting blood and throwing wild punches and hitting each other in the
Oh.
strangely enough like hitting each other in the stomach because that's going to be easily seen. It's a wild one. The security guard doesn't believe him. It's a great movie. I
No, I love
will
it.
we'll have to.
It's I love like getting to see like where these like the scenes that these are clearly homages to and like getting the
Mhm.
connection. I really enjoy
I
that.
don't know if it was that much of an homage or if I'm just looking into it because that's one of my favorite movies. I'm sure it's a trope, right?
Hmm. The the smash cut montage of everybody just getting the shit kicked out of each other.
Hmm.
Oh gosh, how did we? I'm trying to trace the path back of how we got there.
Always tricky
We
because this was the first. No, this wasn't the first Gen episode. Uh,
The Purple Rain Union was the Gen episode, and that's because we were talking about Gail and Linda. Okay, we're back.
yes,
We're
yes,
back.
yes, yes. We are back.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's yeah, their bully was interesting to see briefly. I guess I wish I wish we could have gotten like more interactions between them and these people from their past that we've never seen before.
I really appreciated their reaction to hear that it was the principal's dog.
Mm-hmm.
When they met the principal, because they didn't know it was the principal's dog originally, right? They just thought it was a client's dog, and then the principal pulls up on them while they're talking outside, and their reaction, I believe, is, "Oh, you're still alive."
So, which is funny because they did know it was the principal.
Oh, they
The
did.
hairstylist says like, "Oh yeah, this is his dog. He's coming by. He'll be like happy to see you. It's I should warn you, he's aged and it's I and you can see like like it's a surprise to them that their principal has aged 30 years."
I mean,
So that's
it
why
might
like
be.
the comment of them being like, "You're still alive," after she just told them that he's alive.
It's really good.
God, and I hadn't gone back to think about what the fuck Linda's plan was at this whole point, because she knew like why they smashed the pumpkins and everything,
Mhm.
and that she was gonna win. I don't know. I guess I don't know what her end game was in like thinking they were gonna find someone.
Well,
I guess
it
it
was
still
because
fits.
she got a letter in the mail or something that
Yeah,
said, "I
they
know what you
both did.
did."
Yeah,
Yeah,
they both got letters that said pumpkin smasher.
yeah,
Um,
because that was her
Gail,
life coach is doing.
yes, the
That was
fucking
why
life coach
she
was
was looking.
great.
Yeah,
Just A
that's why
plus
she
life
was.
coach.
Oh, so good.
That's why
And
he
you just
what
got
is
to
he
remember,
400 a session? Was that it?
that's why they've got to cancel the credit card.
Yeah. Oh gosh, and it's Yeah, it just said Pumpkin Smasher. Gal double checked already that the Smashing Pumpkins are in Italy playing the Pope's birthday, so it can't be them. Um,
Right, right.
yeah, and then they go back. God, they keep kicking Bob in and out of the different rooms while they come up with this plan. Uh, Promise me you're gonna flip this burger in a minute. It's like, yeah, fine. All right, it doesn't sound like you're gonna do it.
She doesn't.
No.
Oh man, I feel like it's very. I it is one of the episodes where they look into Gail's psyche a little bit, and like Gail is self-aware that she goes a little bit crazy, but she acknowledges that she still loves her sister. Like, yeah, she's going to get super mad and stalk people and assault people and things like that, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't love her
Is it
and
just
she
because
won't
I
always
fly
be
into
there
jealous
for her.
rages?
I mean, it's one of those moments that also we saw in the Wheelie Mammoth,
Oh god,
where
I forgot about Gal in the Wheelie Mammoth episode.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, the goldfish bullshit. Oh my god, I forgot about that whole thing.
the whole goldfish thing, and then her being self-aware of like running away from her fears in the dentist episode.
Hmm.
So I really enjoy the self-aware moments of Gale.
Hmm.
When Gale's painting animals assholes, less so.
Well, it's not, again, not to dive too far off into Gal now, but it's, I know you and I have talked about, I think, our kind of different reactions to the Yurt episode.
Yes.
Which, like, it's a cringy Gale episode, but like I still like it because it's, I feel like you do get like this side of Gale that Linda doesn't see, and that we, as like, essentially as from the point of view of that side of the family, don't see of her, where like the energy she can bring to people like does actually inspire this woman.
She decides to stop being a review rag. Is that what it's called? A rag
I
reviewer.
guess, yeah.
Oh man, got a bot in the chat, huh?
Ooh, first time chat.
From Blap Blub
Blah
Blip.
blah bloop blip.
Blub Blub Blip. Thanks for inputting on your show. Well, I mean, is there a moment in Bob's Burgers where somebody wants to be famous? Does Gene think that any of his things are gonna? So there is the art crawl. Speaking of Gail and her animal buttholes, there is the moment where Louise almost convinces Tina to let them cut Gene's ear off so he can be a famous artist.
Yes. Oh gosh, and then her working essentially Andy and Ollie out in the cold to make art.
Hmm.
It's, I do feel like I do need to kind of go back and watch from the episodes they're in how much they exist separately from just being pawns to Louise.
Very rarely.
Very
Very,
rarely.
very rarely. I think they exist not being pawns in the episode where they hit the ice skating gladiatorial Olympics.
Oh yeah.
They're their own standalone entity
Hmm.
there, though we never actually see them fight. Or wait, do we? And they both fall down.
I forget. We
I don't act.
so it's, I was in the Nightmare on Wharf, Nightmare on Wharf Avenue. What is their street?
I don't remember.
What, the one where they're getting all their candy stolen? It's when they go to, and we've, a whole nother conversation we've talked about is how little interaction there ever is between Andy and Ollie and Jimmy Jr. One of the times
Yes.
we get an interaction is when they all immediately suspect Zeke and Jimmy Jr. stole their candy, and they all go up and start confronting them, and it's like, they're all, I forget, they're all throwing out like essentially like accusations and telling them to confess, and Andy and Ollie are just like, we'll give them something to talk about love. Just quoting the song, but like getting all up in their face. And so they was still very, it's still very much them existing as part of an ensemble and not individually there, but an interesting interaction with them and Jimmy Jr. Sort of. Still
Yeah,
only in
because
like a group setting.
yeah, because even in the Taffy Factory, they didn't really have a role. outside of Jimmy Jr.
Sorry. Yeah, because in
Yeah.
the Taffy Factory, in the Taffy Factory, Jimmy and Junior split off and did their own thing, and then Luis roped Andy and Ollie in as her as her essentially minesweepers on either side of her.
Yeah, it was the equivalent of letting in like old 3.5 D&D, letting a mule walk 10 feet in front of you throughout an
Yes.
entire dungeon.
Yep. She had one in front, one in the back.
Hmm. And she still managed to fall.
Yep. Oh my gosh. But getting back, how did we get there?
We
With
were
Gale
talking
stuff.
about Andy and Ollie, and you know, I'm not really sure on that.
I, hmm, I'm not sure I can trace that one back from how we got
It
from
was
a
there,
Gale
man. There was,
conversation there.
oh yeah, right. It had something to do with cringe, the cringiness of episodes.
Was it from the year I know we talked about the urine episode. We
Mm-hmm.
talked about her actually inspiring people, which was a side of her we
Mm-hmm.
don't get to see a whole lot of.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember. I don't
Something
know.
to do. No, no, because I remember what it was. It was because you were having a fucking coughing fit, and I was commenting on the person, the bot that asked if we wanted to be famous, and I brought up that Andy and we discussed that Andy and Ollie worked for there when they couldn't get Gene famous by cutting off his ear.
Yes. Yep.
That was the whole
That was it.
tangent.
That was. Yep. Thank you. So that we can blame that tangent on Blap Bloop Blip.
Wow, thanks a lot, Black
Thank you
Blue.
for that audience. You love the audience participation in the discussion.
Oh yeah, we'll try to accommodate any further questions, any further input. Should it happen in this
I
or
have been
another
looking
episode?
for. I've been asking for requests throughout. If
Oh
anybody
yeah,
wanted
oh
to
yeah.
chime in,
We're gonna get it
like I said,
next
my
time.
sister keeps my sister keeps texting me things to say instead of just putting it in chat. When we were talking about the Tina dating dead things, she did remind me about Tina dating the zombie basketball team in the Fron Files story.
the the whole zombie basketball
Yep.
team, yeah.
Yep.
And weren't there zombies in the episode, the ending song of when Tina sneaks into the Boys for
Oh, the
Now
boy, one of the
auditions?
boys for now, and her whole end
Yeah, the
performance with
16 or
all
so.
of the boys that she's ever had crushes on. Yeah, no, the
Mm,
zombies were definitely in there with all the
okay.
kids. Yep, for sure.
Uh, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, and also I think it's introduced in the first episode. Maybe the second episode at the very I think it is introduced in the episode when the parents come to visit because they talk about Tina's night terrors and she
Jesus.
mentions that the time that her dad let her watch The Day of the Dead is also intermingling with her budding sexuality now.
Oh,
And
no.
that is and so she's having dreams of zombies chasing her and then she turns to them and says, "Do you want a kiss?" or something to that effect.
Is that when we established that she thrashes in her sleep?
Yeah,
This
that's
is this is where I flail.
oh, I thought you stopped that. No.
No. It's like Teddy and his arm biting.
You just don't stop.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Or Bob and Linda and they're snoring. Just a good episode.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think if there was anything else in that last episode worth chatting about. We
I
kind of covered it. Like I said, I wish we'd gotten different or more interactions with more of Linda and Gail's past.
mhm.
Because I feel like those are like the two episodes of that we've gotten between this and Purple Rain Union has been like nice fleshing out of their early life.
Yeah, I mean this is also in that period is also when they do the Mr. Business episode, right?
What do you mean? Sorry, it's
Where they are where John Oliver is the guest star of the
yeah,
talent agent They're looking for the Mr. Biscuits. No, no, not
Yeah,
Mr.
they're
Biscuits.
looking
Mr.
for the new
Biscuits,
Mr.
cat's name.
Business.
Mr.
Who,
Business, that's it.
yeah, it's I just didn't know. Did you mean like when that was released fits in with those,
Yeah,
or
yeah. In the last two episodes, we were talking about them fleshing out their backstory.
I don't know. It's because so the class reunion episode I think was actually back in like season 3 or 4, so that one was like really early on.
Really?
Yeah,
Was that early? Oh
yeah.
man, I thought it was later than that.
Nope, that one was pretty early because it's circling back to how we got onto this one earlier. That was the first gen episode we had, so they've had the babysitter for a
Oh, it
while.
was. Okay, right, right. We did mention that. Oh man. Okay. All right. Dang. Okay. But yeah, this was a pretty solid episode, though. I feel like it wasn't the strongest. It had some really strong parts,
Mhm.
but it wasn't the strongest episode.
I
God, the
think
costumes were so good, though.
no, I think that's exactly how I feel too. Like it felt everything that was there was good. It just didn't feel like a full episode almost.
Hmm. Well, the only thing we can hope for next year is a two-part Halloween episode.
I mean, we've gotten a 2-part Christmas episode.
We're overdue for, I think, I don't know how a two-part Thanksgiving episode would go, but I would love to see it if it was anything like the running of the turkeys.
Oh my, that not to
I'm
we will not give away
we'll get
spoilers
into that.
for
We'll
the
get
next.
into that on the next installment.
Yes.
Right. But it's gonna be so good. Oh, it's I have we there's the love that could have been. We're not gonna get into it, I know, but I've got some thoughts on that.
We've already got our thoughts ready for the Thanksgiving
Oh yeah,
episodes.
they are. I just have to watch them a little bit more closely and be able to actually stump Pat next time with some of my intense questioning.
You did. I didn't know everything.
Uh, but yeah,
I think
I
that's
think
it.
that's I think that's it. Yeah, I don't. So Pat, my dude, how are you doing? Because I know I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing great. I am doing great.
Fantastic, cool. Fantastic. This has been a wonderful evening.
Yeah. It's I'm so happy anybody that was able to join us that got any enjoyment out of this is all that we wanted because we had a
Hmm.
great time.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no, this was first and foremost a conversation between friends about a shared interest.
yeah. So it's I definitely think we will be doing this again in not too long a time to go over our Thanksgiving episodes because I think at this point we're probably going to hit our all the major holiday
Oh
episodes.
yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
The real question is, will this turn into the McElroys version of watching Paul Blart Mall Cop every year and like doing a commentary on it every single year? Will we just revisit this exact same thing next year with very new opinions on it?
My
Who
opinion's
can who
totally
can tell?
changed. I'm
Yeah,
seeing this episode in a whole new light.
I think after that, I might think the Fortnite is the best. We'll have to see. I don't see that happening, but
No.
it could.
It's the Haunting was just very solidly like up at the top of my list going into
So
this.
good.
It's I think it's interesting because I think Halloween and Christmas, and I won't get into spoilers for those, are the two sets of holidays where I've got the clearest winners in my head for the ones that I like the most. And
Yes.
in
And we have
my
very different opinions on it
yes,
as
we
well.
do, we do. In Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day, I think there's more that are competing still in my head for those. Like it's not as
Really?
I can't point to one as solidly because there's so many. There's like more than one that I love in each one.
Yeah. I mean, we could also have this discussion about the musical episodes as well, because there's a little bit
Yes.
of overlap there. I had forgotten that Valentine's Day episodes were a category because I can only remember the Urge one off I feel like there was something about like buying flowers for
Oh
people in
yes,
one of them.
that it was Bob had to buy. He was supposed to get was it 500 or 250 carnations?
Yeah, it was a
for
lot. I think it was
Valentine's Day.
500. Yeah,
And Tina was selling the carnations and tore open all of the envelopes and notes.
right.
And I feel like something
And
else was going on
yeah,
too.
there was
Whatever
there
Gene
was
was
the
doing,
C
maybe?
storyline. No, it was regular sized Rudy and the girl that he had a crush on that was just using him for
Oh,
test answers. And
yes.
he's supposed to have his first kiss with the girl that he had a crush on that
I
day.
think her name is
And
Chloe.
Chloe, yes,
Yes.
that's it, because her hair
She
smells
smells
so
like a
nice.
shampoo bottle.
Right. And so to kind of keep Rudy from being a fractured shell of a human, Louise
Yes.
kisses
Oh
him,
my
and
gosh.
it's such a sweet moment. It's so cute.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
No, it was a
Was that
wonderful little.
definitely? Oh my gosh. So what was Gene doing that episode then?
Was there it another Courtney thing?
So there was an episode. The Gene and was that the Gene and
The
Courtney show
Gene and Courtney.
episode?
I don't think that was the Gene and Courtney show
It might
episode.
have been because I think the Gene and Courtney show episode was a Valentine's Day episode.
Really?
It yes, it has to be because Gene's song at the end I think was on Valentine's Day.
Oh, well, that was a really good. Like as far as like Gene's standalone songs go,
Oh yeah,
standalone
yeah.
songs, I think that and his song during the Thanksgiving episode where he has food poisoning
Mhm.
are the best.
Oh my gosh, that song.
Turkey, I
I
need
need
you
you
inside
inside me.
me.
I need all of you. I need your breast
You're-
inside me.
And
Oh yes, that was all the same episode. Is the Gene and Courtney show, and the Carnation fundraiser is all one
oh, so
episode.
it had like it had a lot of storylines going
Yeah,
in it. Wow.
that was season 6.
Oh, my. Man, Bob's Burgers, way to make a season.
Right.
Every season. Okay. All right. Pat, I'm
Yes.
going to put you on the spot here. I'm going to put you on the spot now. What is going to be our next topic?
Thanksgiving episodes, right?
Are we going to do Thanksgiving episodes or are we going to try to come up with something in the meantime?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know when we would. I think in my mind, just because Thanksgiving's in like 2 or 3 fucking weeks, I just figured
Oh,
that would.
God, I did. No, no, it's in
It's
like,
very
it's in
close, isn't
2 minutes.
it?
It's I don't know.
I don't
I
know
don't
what
know when
time is
Thanksgiving
anymore,
is.
but I think
It's like
it's
it's the fourth Thursday, isn't it? That's the first one, two,
so.
three.
I mean, it's
It's
in
like the
about
25th.
3 weeks.
Okay, you know what? That's fair. That's fair.
So we could do one of those,
All right.
or if we were gonna do a different topic in the meantime, are we sticking with Bob's Burgers, or are we? I think we
We can't
would
stick with
before we
Bob's Burgers,
branch
but
out further.
I want to issue you a challenge.
Oh, why? Oh shit, sure.
I want to because this was a show that was fundamental to my childhood. And after this, I would love for you to share one with me, and we can move this on to a different conversation, a different day.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to watch Freakazoid, which is we've discussed this before. You have not seen it, and you
Mm-hmm.
need to see it. It is the pinnacle of Steven Spielberg cartoons. It has not aged particularly well in some spots. Gonna be real upcoming and real forthright with that.
Like
But
everything else from the '90s has aged
yeah,
greenly.
yeah. I mean, like we could talk about Steven Spielberg cartoons as a whole, but Freakazoid was definitely fundamental in shaping my sense of humor. So I feel like it would be a beneficial one. Uh, but we can hammer it out. We'll figure something else out.
Megan is still messaging me. Um, the Carnation episode she said is Gene and Courtney. So
Okay, so
that was it. That was it. So that was the Carnation episode is the Gene
mhm,
and Courtney one, but
mhm.
Rudy didn't buy a carnation for that girl. He was buying Zeke's bullshit weed flowers. So that was a different season.
Yes.
That was Bob Actually, which is like the Love Actually everybody gets a little storyline episode. So it
Oh, okay.
was Tina and Jimmy Jr. with the sky kiss, but she's having diarrhea, so she does it on stilts. Uh, there's Bob and Teddy go take the hip hop dance class. Gene is making the dark chocolate with the like substitute lunch lady.
Oh
And
God, I
then
forgot
and
about
then we've
that.
got
That's so
the
good.
regular size Rudy and Luis plot.
That's right. Okay, you are correct there, sir. All right.
It's that was all Megan.
Oh well, man, shout out Megan. You might have to you might have to join us for one of these later ones.
Yeah,
Uh,
but yeah, it's that's so yeah. It's I mean I enjoyed doing this. I hope people have enjoyed watching it, and if you have, it's definitely coming up with plans to do more Bob's Burger stuff, more other topics too, and potentially we're
Beetleborgs,
yes,
the
Beetleborgs at some point for
Beetleborgs,
sure.
Mystic Knights of
Mystic Knights of
Tirnoch. Oh,
Tyrannog.
I might have something already lined up for Mystic Knights of Tirnoch. I know a guy who might be interested in being who would be a very good guest if he was interested.
Oh yay! Megan's so happy to help in chat.
Oh heck yeah!
Well, cool. Yeah, that's it for the evening. Otherwise, we will if we don't cut that off, we will keep
Oh,
stretching out this exit.
it's the curse of our
Yeah.
conversations every single time, and we haven't even hit Beast Wars yet. Okay, then I'm Zan. I enjoy nostalgic things, especially TV shows where the punchline is that we all hate each other. Um, I do a lot of streaming, a lot of tabletop stuff. I'm kind of in a cool down period at the moment. I'm only in two 5e D&D games, one of which is in like 5 hours. So hang out on Polished Cryptid channel for that, or also on Tuesdays in the same time slot. I also do some work with therapeutic role playing games, and am probably going to be releasing a little bit of academia here in the next couple of months about some non physical trauma systems in different RPGs. It's going to be a great time. If you want to make really cool tabletop games sound a little bit boring, but it's all good. I hate academic writing. It's gonna be great though. Yeah, and I think that's all of my stuff. Oh, I do occasionally a game here, and I'm sure I won't mention that.
No,
I've got
I
other
won't
stuff
mention it.
coming, but
It's fine. I won't
you're
mention
not, you're not okay. Well, you're not going to mention it, but I'm not going to mention it either.
It's Ruby Tooth Bay will ideally it will return at some point. We are hammering out the dates on that. But at least our current I think our current chapter of it, we've got at least a few more episodes to finish up there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and next time you could catch me is tomorrow night on Black Feather Guild, Twitch TV Raven, where I will be in the Tuesday session of our shared Dragon Age campaign on that channel, because we have the Tuesday evening session and a Friday afternoon session that we all share the same world in. And I wonder. I don't know how they're doing. We got attacked by a big old tree demon last time, and I keep getting pushed into the fade and then like drop kicked out of the fade, and it's a lot. But yeah, catch me there tomorrow night. And that's all I got to promote. Any new stuff I will post on Twitter, and once we find out when we're doing this next, that'll be up there too. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Bye.
Farewell.